4 rounds into BSRTC Spring 2022, and 3 clear favorites have emerged for each championship. Andy McEwen in Pro, James Deave in Pro-Am, and Fiona Siddons in Am. Neither are out of the woods yet, but each have over 100 points to second approaching the Wildcard Draft Fest to Elkhart Lake. Can they stay atop amidst the slingshots and slide jobs, or might one or all of them fall today with, properly, a wild card in the pocket at Road America? Hello and welcome, hello and welcome, there we go, to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Road America. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costa joining me alongside, and JP, let's run it back. Over 4 miles of tarmac per lap, most of it full throttle, and nearly 30 cars registered today. We're in for a treat.
Absolutely, we certainly are. On Tuesday, it was an absolutely amazing show we've had with the MX-5. You know, it was a lot of fun, a lot of action, and expect more of the same, Andrew. We're going to have lots of challenge, lots of overtakes, and, well, we're going to have to wait and see if the 3 leaders of each class are still going to remain over 100 points clear of their nearest rivals, or we're going to have a shakeup in the table.
I think it's going to be a good day of racing here. Touring cars, I'm not sure how touring cars are actually going to behave here. Still pretty quick. Obviously a little quicker than the Miatas on Tuesday, but are we going to see the same kind of draft fest, or are these cars going to be a little more spread out? Of course, they are larger, a little bit longer, a little bit wider, a little bit faster. It seems like these would spread out just a little more, and some of those packs on Tuesday were already decently spread out for packs.
Yeah, that's going to be the I feel like they're going to be as close as they were with the Miatas. Last season, we had quite, the similar effect of slipstream. I think the Miatas were a bit stronger, but, I think we should expect, Andrew, the straightaways are so massive that, we're going to have the effect none of the less. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how the drivers will cope. Obviously, front-wheel drive action, quite different than the Miatas, and obviously a whole different car as well. So, same track, different cars, different experiences.
And before we really get into the sim here, I gotta ask JP, what's your favorite corner here at Road America, and why? I mean, there's a lot to be happy with, I think, around this course. Turn 1 is a really big passing opportunity. A lot of races can be made and lost there, certainly, and same for turn 14 on the other end of that front straightaway. I like the carousel, personally. I think that's maybe my favorite corner. Canada Corner's fantastic, but what kind of piques your interest?
Not gonna lie, the amount of times that I ran this course on high downforce cars like the LMP1, I used to always love, the first section of the racetrack. Turns 1 and 3, they require so much precision because you can lose a lot of time if you just miss the apex by a little bit. But obviously, as you mentioned, the carousel is always so much fun to run on any car. The long sweeping corner is just amazing. And then obviously Canada Corner, I feel like that braking zone, you can carry quite a lot more speed than you think, especially on the exits. So those have to be my picks, but I don't think I can pinpoint one exactly.
And similarly, what car would you opt for here? We've seen the Hondas have problems with curving, but it seems like they soaked them up pretty decently at Sonoma last week. We've seen the Hyundai Elantra specifically be fastest most of the time, and the Audi TCR fastest straight line. What would you go for?
I feel like, being this course with so much straightaways, I feel like I would have to choose the Audi, even though it's my favorite TCR. But, I feel like with the straightaways, it could be, a game changer, especially on the starts, Andrew. If you're starting further back due to a back qualifying, we've seen those Audis absolutely slingshotting out of the line and really gaining a lot of positions. And, well, if you're starting in the front, that start can really gain you a safety net on turns 1 and 3. So, for me, that has to be my choice.
All right, you can go ahead and see the weather now in the sim. Let's check the weather first. And we are at a cool track temp. Wind is decently calm, 8 miles an hour out of the south. Nothing too crazy here for race number 1, at least. Let's take a look at that track map, JP. Talking about the carousel, talking about turns 1 and 3. You can see why those are, I think, good opportunities to make and break your lap. Canada Corner as well. I think turn 7 and turn 8, those are 2 kind of underrated corners here at Road America. That's where a lot of the treachery comes in per lap, and that's where a lot of races sometimes are lost.
Yeah, to be honest, turns 8, I feel like that's a really easy corner to make any sort of mistake, carrying a bit too much speed and just running wide. And obviously that corner, just like many of corners around here, Andrew, it's straight up gravel. So if you go wide, you're really going to lose a lot of time. And I feel like that's the corner where you're going to see most of the instance. It's really tight, really sharp as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. And obviously, between the kink and Canada Corner, Andrew, we have that small corner cattle bottoms that can catch some of the drivers out, especially if they're going side by side.
We'll see how that changes things throughout the day. Let's go ahead and look at our standings quickly towards the end of qualifying here. Andy McEwen, as I mentioned, 150 points, nearly back to James Holman. James Neve as well. I guess, yeah. That's well over 100 points back to Martin Johnson, and even Fiona Siddons, 604 points back of Andy McEwen. Compare that to 743 back for Adam Fox. Yeah, quite a distance there. About 139 points for Fiona. Big gaps for first and second in each of these classes, but a lot of positions yet to be determined in between. But it really does seem like we've got three championship favorites very clearly ahead of the rest of the field, and even in qualifying, you're starting to see some of that, where even down in amateur, Fiona Siddons looking like, well, the only amateur driver to have a time on the board aside from Dale Bedison. So certainly doing good there. And let's see, actually, I don't see James Neve all that high up 14th on the list. 14th.
Yeah.
Third place.
Fourth. Yeah, quite far away, especially considered that Walters is only 6 tenths of a second behind Holman currently, and while James Neve is well over a second, 1.1, you can see nearly 1.2 seconds. So it's quite a gap. Holman currently leading, obviously using that, well, German power, the horsepower of the Audi seems to be working in his favor. Andrew, only 0.8 of a second to Shane Piggott, so it's really close. But Andrew, talking about quickly about the standings, you know, they have a comfortable gap, but we saw on Tuesday how close a lot of guys can be to the front. We saw trains of cars who are, up to 13th place, still in view of the leader with like 5 minutes to go in racing. So, you know, this table right here, the point sheet, can really shake up during the day. So this is an opportunity for each and every single driver to catch up those ahead, and it's going to be difficult for the leaders to essentially pull a great gap. You can see now Lee Holmes as well, currently in 6th place. He's doing a good job so far, only half a second behind the leader. It's going to be close, and oh, we have a tandem action. Is this from a drift?
A couple of cars getting loose there. Lee Holmes, one of them, in turn 14. Robin Walters currently the fastest of the Pro-Am qualifiers. Sam Smith second in that class, and Smith drafting here to the line. Can he go any faster that lap? No, not quite. 3 seconds off almost. Down to amateur. We talked about Fiona Siddons leading that class and certainly leading again in qualifying. As she even mentioned on Tuesday, JP, she's focused really on just getting this touring car championship. It's looking promising.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, coming into the halfway point of the season, and while being 100 points clear of your competition, it's a really good spot to be, you know, a really good place to be. And obviously, Andrew, we still have halfway of the championship still to go, so, you know, it can still change. But, you know, if she just keeps consistency, just keeps the car on the racetrack, that's all you need. You know, you just need to consistently score points.
Like I said,
and obviously,
the car on the racetrack, if she crashes it there, but
yeah,
go on.
Yeah, just avoid stuff like that on the race, you know, just making sure you finish each and every single race, you know, even if you're further back, just scoring a few points each and every single race is going to be very, very important. And obviously keeping your car clean, avoid any penalties, any disqualifications, maybe even quali bans that could really change your game.
Here's a look at Pro-Am points leader James Neve working through turn 6. Out there solo. We're not seeing many drafts in qualifying, interestingly enough. James Neve has teammates on this racetrack, Andy McEwen, Michael Seal, but no help here as he works through turn number 8 now. And we saw briefly Andy McEwen, your pro points leader, your overall points leader. He is at a turn 8, it looks like there. Also, it looks like relatively solo. One car somewhat ahead. And actually, yeah, that will be a draft.
Yeah, there will be a draft taxiing the carousel and into the kink. He's going to benefit quite a bit. Obviously, he needs his lap to be essentially pinpoint perfect so far if he wants to improve on his own time, but this is going to be a good little bit of extra speed. It's really going to help him. You can see he's using quite a bit of curb, and I think that's going to invalidate the lap.
Andy McEwen following Robin Walters, it looks like, and likely just invalidate the lap time, but we'll see if he sticks with it as well. Or anyway, as Stephen Daly goes up to 4th place ahead of Chris Knox. Lee Holmes still in 6th. Farrier in the top 3 today. Tom Mayle checking in the top 10. Joe Winter, Carl Hardy, Michael Seal just outside that top 10. And on board here with Andy McEwen, can he go faster this final lap of qualifying? Snags a bit of the grass, and no, that'll be it. Tom Mayle, though, up to 6th all of a sudden.
Yeah, good lap from him. He's going to be improved quite a bit. And, yeah, starting up ahead, Andrew, is all sometimes you need, especially in tracks like this, to avoid some of those first corner, first lap instants. So The further ahead you start, well, that's going to be the better. Johnson, unfortunately, Andrew, only 16th position. He's 2 positions behind the championship leader on the Pro-Am class. He's going to be inside. He's actually going to be starting right behind Neve. So he has the target. Well, whoever he needs to be, the person he needs to beat is going to be straight ahead of him.
With a few moments left here in qualifying, let's take a look at the schedule for this season, the spring season here for BSR, and this is the same schedule for the BSR MX-5 cars on Tuesdays. You can see we're checking in at round number 5 now. This is halfway through the schedule. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park next week gets us into the back half. Watkins Glen International then for round 7, Michelin Racing Road Atlanta for round 8, then it's Daytona in Sebring to finish things up in May. Really good racing, and I think we're going to have a lot of draft battles the rest of the way through, and I mentioned this on Tuesday, JP. It feels like Donington Park and Knock Hill, even Sonoma, slower courses, not so much draft pack. You're going to have more technical racing. Then you get to places like Road America, Canadian Tire, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Sebring, even Road Atlanta. Really, all of these, they're going to be draft races.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to give an opportunity for those drivers who probably had a few bad races, especially in those technical courses, to essentially catch back up. You know, it's really difficult on tracks like this, you know, Road America, Daytona, tracks like that to essentially pull a good gap, you know, a safe gap, because you're going to be in the slipstream from 1.2 seconds and obviously below that. So it's going to allow those drivers to have a chance to fighting for the lead, even if they don't have the outright pace. So you should make it interesting, Andrew. It actually should make, I guess, a high-stakes game, especially for those that are trying to catch up and those that are trying to be safe.
Those qualifying expires here. Let's go ahead and go down to the starting grid for the first time today. On pole, James Holman in car number 4 for RD SimSport. They have looked great, and they've had their off days. I think they're off rounds certainly, but RD SimSport has looked fantastic since joining BSRTC. Here, Shane Piggott starts from the 2nd spot. Starting 3rd, it's another one of those RD cars. It's Neil Ferrier in the 91 car. Then Stephen Daly rolls off in the 4th spot. Starting 5th, you'll find another RD car. Look at that, 3 in line, 1st, 3rd, and 5th. As Chris Knox, Tom Mail will start now from the 6th position in car 77. Lee Holmes then drops down to 7th. Robin Walters takes pole in Pro-Am. Starting 9th, you've got Sam Smith. It wasn't quite enough for pole for him. And in 10th rather, you've got the 18 of Andy McEwen.
11th place, we're going to have Joe Winter in his number 11. Carl Harden is going to start alongside of him in 12th place in the number 573. Row number 7, we're going to have Michael Seal on the inside, and the Pro-Am Championship leader James Neve on his outside in 14th place. 15th place, starting row number 8, we're going to have Ian Manners in the 501, and 2nd place in the Pro-Am standings, Martin Johnston in 16th place. 17th, we're going to have Scott Smith on the inside, and outside we're going to have Craig Schill in 18th place. In row number 10, Andrew, we're going to have in 19th place Fiona Siddons, our amateur championship leader, and Roger Morton on the outside.
Getting ready for the race now. Red light's already on. We've got more than 20 cars, all the way back to about 30 cars this evening. But that is all we've got time for. Green flag is out of Road America. Off and away down to turn 1 and already 3 wide. Wide, multiple rows deep, and there's our first crash. No, it's one of the 88 Tech cars hard in the wall, and that is Glenn Humberstone.
That was a big instant straight ahead, and you can see the rest of the field making their way through turns 2 and 3. Looks like quite orderly after that big incident, Andrew. Maybe they saw what happened and saw how quickly the race can end, but so far, apart from that one incident, well, looks like everything is clear as they have further battles heading into turns 5.
Down to turn 5 now for the first time, and already teammates controlling the race out front. Ferrier down to the inside of Holman, takes the spot away.
Took the spot away, quite brave actually to do that move early on. That was a big dive, and while he's gonna lead so far, you can see further battles. Looks like for maybe 8th place, straight ahead going side by side for turn 6. The uphill blind corner, and it looks like they all made it through, even though some people were going too wide. Now we head into turn number 7. This is difficult to go too wide, a bit of contact. Exactly why. So tight, no runoff areas, but looks like, well, still hasn't rejoined whoever that was. I cannot really identify it, but, well, trouble's already for him.
Robin Walters off in the dirt after that contact with James Neve. Neil Ferrier still leads as we roll through the carousel now. A good look here. The entire field exiting a few cars wide. Stephen Daly and it looked like Chris Knox out in the dirt out of turn 9. Did they get back on? One car also out in the grass there out of turn 9. Wow.
Well, indeed, you know what's saving these guys, Andrew? The front-wheel drive nature of these cars. If they spin around, they're just gonna go. Oh, look at that. If they go too wide, sometimes they're not gonna lose the back end like they would in a rear-wheel drive situation. But you can see now heading into Canada corner, pretty much everyone's single file. We saw a few cars going defensive. But yeah, really good first lap, Andrew. Now we're gonna have to see if the Audi can catch up to his teammate, if Holman can catch up to Ferrier ahead on the main straightaway.
I'm always a sucker for these static shots, watching the entire field come on through. Carl Hardy loses a spot here. Michael Steele goes on by. Up and over the hill, lap 1 goes complete now. Neil Ferrier well out in front. Well, I'd say well out in front. Artie Simsport well out in front with Holman there in the second spot. They were controlling this race already down to turn 1. Look at this gap they've built up to Stephen Daly and Chris Knox. Shane Piggott in 5th. Then it's Lee Holmes, Joe Winter, Tom Mayle. They go side by side, and Mayle out in the dirt.
Going really wide. He's going to be rejoining safely, so that's at least good for him. But Andrew, I wonder if Holman and Ferrier, they just switched actually. Holman now leading the race once again. I wonder, yeah, they're doing exactly what we saw on Tuesday. They know what it's important to break away the toe. Obviously, switching positions, that's going to bring the gap down. You can see Daly now only 0.8 of a second, so he's going to be pushed back. But Chris Knox going down the inside, trying to make an all 3 teammates top 3. Just like we saw on Tuesday, Andrew, we have 3 of the same teammates on the top 3 positions.
Teammates here are swapping spots. Oh my goodness, the send from Duncan Cope to the inside of Robin Walters there. Doesn't quite make it safe, but Mark Oliver and Alistair Hatcher here side by side as they work through turn 6. Teammates not giving up. This is for 22nd. Adam Fox has gone on by Fiona Siddons for the top spot in amateur. And oh, one car sideways, that's Oliver. Sideways there through 7, going to lose a spot now to Robin Walters down to turn number 8. Sir Alan Toon is back here. 2 cars out of the race, those being Dale Bennison and Glenn Humberstone. They could rejoin, but it's not likely. There's Fiona Siddons, your amateur points leader and full sitter today. She's down to 21st. Adam Fox up to 20th off the start and battling here with Martin Shirley.
Yeah, an amateur driver battling against a pro driver. Shirley trying to pull away. Oh, both of them go really wide, even though Shirley had quite a bit of, I guess, a shaky rejoin. But, well, they're going to point at the right direction, which is all that matters. Andrew heading into Canada corner. Both of them quite orderly. Dust of smoke. Looks like someone hit the inside patch of dirt right there, but they're going to remain in position. These two going at it on the final corner. No positions being switched. And this is Sam Smith and Winter, isn't it?
It is. This is for 7th. And now Smith going to have to try and get that draft going on this front stretch. Certainly in a great spot to do so. The front stretch longest straightaway on the track. Chris Knox purple there. And just not quite going to have the oomph he needs to get to the inside of Winter there for turn 1. Winter holds onto the spot. Sideways, though, through turn 1. You see the way he pitched that car and almost had it, but gets a little bit loose there on exit. Gives up some time. Nearly opens the door to Sam Smith, but keeps that spot. Just ahead, Shane Piggott turning his season around. We talked about this at Sonoma last week, JP. It was like a flip of a switch. It was so good all of a sudden last week, and finally is back where I think he should be, in the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. We know how strong of a driver he is, and he definitely doesn't need to prove it, but he's definitely doing so already in the top 5. Well, going for 4th place just like that. That was really brave. Luckily for him, Daly saw him coming, left plenty of room on the inside, and they both make it safely. But, well, that was very optimistic. He's eager to get that position.
Now, Piggott in the new Veloster here. Got a win last week. Race number 4. Finally won a race again this season. Got a few last season as a Pro-Am and won that Pro-Am championship. Up here with the pros this season, and I think fits right in. Trailing Stephen Daly currently on the racetrack, just ahead of Lee Holmes. Starting to open up a gap there as well. Now, our pro points leader, Andy McEwen, not doing a whole lot this race. It was pretty good on Tuesday, I thought, but in fact, even got a win. Won race number 2 on Tuesday, but not looking like he's got the same speed today in the touring car.
Yeah, today seems like a tough day for him. still has plenty of time and, well, plenty of races today to bounce that around. So we're going to have to wait and see how he reacts. Up ahead, these two are still going at it for 7th place. Is Smith going to go down the inside? No, not quite. Looks like it looks like Smith is faster, Andrew, but he's having difficulty passing the number 11 of Winter ahead. We saw him putting his nose in, in plenty of occasions, but really couldn't get it, like, nailed it.
Did you see the save that Winter had through the kink?
No, I'm eager to see it now.
I have not seen a piece of driving like this yet today, so this is their first really good save of the day. Watch Joe Winter here through the kink. Somehow hangs onto this one. Pops the curving on the inside, goes out wide. Makes it look easy. That's not easy at 150 miles an hour, whatever it is through there. Probably not 150, but 120 or so through the kink to get sideways like that. Hangs onto it, hangs onto the position. It didn't look like as much because he made it look easy with the front wheel drive, but that's scary nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. Any occasions where you go wide into the kink, on the exit of the kink, it's really going to get your heart pumping. And, well, as you mentioned, he made it look easy, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Now, he created a bit of a gap between him and Smith. These three are, well, still going at it. I can see those positions switching. And these two, well, they're still going at it. Piggott trying to overtake Daly, couldn't really do it again. And luckily for him, Andrew, this is really helping the top three. Piggott is really eager to get past, but, well, he's not really helping his cause if he wants to fight for the victory.
Lee Holmes with the blink there. Piggott in the 5th position. Daly in the 4th spot. Your top Pro-Am driver now is Sam Smith. He was not leading not so long ago. Who was ahead? I don't actually recall. There was somebody else that was leading in Pro-Am, somebody else that was fast. Was it, it was Robin Walters, wasn't it? Where is Robin now? Down there in 20th.
Remember on the first lap, he went side by side on
you're right, with
turn
James
7, I
Neve.
think it was. Yeah, and unfortunately, that really ended up costing him. He couldn't really rejoin the racetrack for some reason. He just ended up sticking on the grass and, well, ended up losing a bunch of positions. Currently, he sits in 20th place. Yeah, it really took its turn on him, didn't it?
As he started 8th, currently 20th. Going to be tough to fight through the invert there. Sam Smith, though, working on Joe Winter, might have a battle here to turn 14. That's through 13 at Bill Mitchell Bend. And Smith looking pretty good today. Was great in the Mazdas on Tuesday. Gets close there to the back end of Joe Winter in turn 14. And now has McEwen and Seal behind to worry about. That could complicate things.
It will complicate. It looks like McEwen's exit was much better than him. And he's closing in quite a bit. Oh! Did you see those three going at the wall? You can see a bit of headlight flashing. That was almost like Rubens Barrichello.
Oh, he takes him out.
Oh, no.
Doesn't actually take him out. Oh, my goodness. Stephen Daly hangs onto the car there. Didn't think he'd be able to. I thought he was done for sure. To make contact like that into turn 1 and get through it is astonishing. Shane Piggott, the culprit there, and Daly, I think, has got some extra damage. He's off in the dirt again.
Yeah, I think he's going to park the car. Looks like it. Yeah.
Not happy for sure. I think he was already not pleased after Sonoma last week. Let's see what happened here.
So it wasn't the main...
There's a few parts to this. Watch this. So he's leading. Here comes Lee Holmes. Not leading, but then here comes Shane Piggott. You know?
Yeah.
I understand the frustration from Piggott there. I will never condone intentional crashing. That is, if that is intentional, that's still not okay. I'm not entirely sure there. But we got to go all the way back again and kind of diagnose this. There's a whole lot more to the story.
Yeah, absolutely, because was it Lee Holmes that was past Piggott at that point in the straightaway? Piggott was obviously right behind Daly, and you can see now on the straightaway, he's going to get a good slipstream, and he's going to point to the inside, but Andrew, as soon as the car is alongside you, you cannot really squeeze him. You can see right here, he gets a really good run, he gets the bunker there, and he gets pushed against the wall. Now, obviously on the braking zone, we get even more action, and we're going to have to wait and see. He looks down the inside. Maybe a bit of net code as well.
No, there was no net code there. I don't think the contact was necessarily intentional. Certainly not the result of it, but I think he was going to be heavy to that braking zone regardless. Definitely the flashing, certainly not happy with it. We'll let the stewards review it tomorrow evening.
Absolutely. Like you like to say, let's marinate it? I think it's something like
Let's
that.
let it marinate.
But yeah, there you go. Now, Pickett, well, he's gonna have to defend from Lee Holmes right behind, and it looks like Chris Knox now leading the race. And Neil Ferrien's in second and Holman in third. Well, they put an absolutely amazing gap, right, Andrew? 4 seconds. And I wonder if they're gonna start battling now amongst each other, knowing that they have this much of a gap. We're gonna have to see.
Yeah, well, it helps them when the battle for second, or well, I guess the battle for fourth, really. Battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth was that battle with Piggott, Holmes, and Daly. They kind of, well, one of them was taken out. Winter, actually, though, was working on Lee Holmes now, so Winter's in that battle. 3 cars again. I think Ferrier Knox, yeah, they're going to start racing here. Holman's starting to get left in the dust, it seems like. Maybe 3 cars in a line doesn't work quite as well with the touring cars as it did with the Miatas.
Yeah, obviously you're gonna have people that are gonna have a bit more slipstream than the others. The access is gonna differ a lot, and obviously it's much harder if you're the third car to try and overtake. And that's gonna be contact, and it is Michael Seal. And well, somehow Andrew, once again, they're all pointing at the same direction. I don't know how these guys can do it. Obviously the front wheel drive helps, but wow.
Michael Seal, a lot of contact there to the inside of Sam Smith. Somehow they keep it going, as you mentioned. That was tough to say. We saw it really quickly in the moment. Don't want to take a replay this close to the end for just that. But it looked a bit like Sam might have turned in on Seal, but also looked like maybe Michael got there a little bit late into the corner. And at that point, when somebody's committed to the way they're going to take a corner, it's very, very difficult to change things, especially after turn in. And that's where you get into Randy Pope's vortex of danger, where if somebody's already turning in, you poke your nose to the inside, you're entering a bad spot as it is. And that's not really on that car ahead. So it's always on the trailing car to facilitate a good pass. We'll see what stewards think about that one. Carl Hardy and Ian Manners, they're close together here as they trail Scott Smith and Martin Johnson here down at Canada Corner. Just a few battles throughout your Pro-Am class. There's a lot of them in a row. In fact, Neve, Johnson, Smith, Manners, Hardy, and Schill. 6 Pro-Am cars in a line. At least in the standings.
Yeah, this is a good battle to keep an eye out for, and we might have a switch of positions right here as we're going to enter the final lap of the race. So, and this is going to be the last opportunity for these guys. We have 3 Honda Civics in a row. We're going to have to see which one of them is going to come out on top.
White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Farrier, Holman, and Knox, they lead down to turn 1. In fact, they lead now through turn number 1. Winter and Holmes swap spots. Winter up the inside of Holmes there, and bringing McEwen into the fight. This is now a fight for 5th as Piggott has gotten away from them. They go down to turn 3 here. Veloster being really easy into the corner. The Honda good to the center, and all contact there as well.
Yeah, a bit of contact now. They're trying to go 3 wide. It's not really going to work. It's not wide enough. And, well, there's essentially a roadblock, Andrew. These two, Joe Winter and Lee Holmes, they're not allowing McEwen to find a way past. He's going to have to go to the outside. He's going to break a little bit early, which could really help if these two have any sort of contact. He's going to take the optimal racing line, but it's not going to matter at all. Lee Holmes is going to be able to slot back in the line. So, yeah, this is far from over as all.
Our teammates up front, they head down to turn number 8. 3 in a line here. Farrier over Holman over Knox. RD Simsport telling everybody to wake up. They're here.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been an absolutely dominant race for them. Chris Knox actually came back from quite a few positions to be amongst these guys. Neil Farrier obviously starting in 3rd place. So, yeah, you can see he started from 5th. So, as you mentioned, 3 in a line now, I remember, on the starting grid. So, they have been doing an absolutely amazing job today. We're going to have to see if this continues on the final 3 races. And now, if Holman can actually try to challenge Neil Farrier coming into kind of the corner, he's too far back. So, unless we have another photo finish like we had on Tuesday, Andrew, this might be the order they finish in.
Farrier and Holman, 1-2. Knox behind. I don't think this race is over yet. Holman can get here in turn 14, I think, can certainly push the issue. Does he? Not quite. At this point, it's tough to say. If he gets a good enough run, he might be able to have something. He's got to run. On the left side, James Holman might make this close.
He's going to make it. He's actually going to get the position. Oh, are they going to do a photo finish? I saw a bit of braking lights. Yes. Oh, this is like Le Mans.
They kind of set that one up. Holman with the win. A different drag race, though. Shane Pickett has taken some damage. He's in the wall. Looks like slow at the very least. Out of the final corner. Looks like we've got some more to review.
Looks like plenty more, and Shane's going to end up finishing 7th place. Wow. Two interesting finales. Two interesting photo finishes, I guess you can say. Le Mans style finish for the 3 on top. And obviously, well, looks like an instant as well.
James Holman gets another win this season. That is number 3 for our count. And that is actually now tied for second with Michael Seal. Neil Ferrier, the only driver with more wins at 4 wins so far this season at BSRTC. Sir Alan Toon will be the final car across the start-finish line. And let's see him get to the start-finish. Then we will take our break. Well, take our break. Not really take our break. Take our moment. Let's go ahead and fire up that spinning wheel, JP, and fire up the first invert on the day.
On Tuesday, the first one, well, it was kind of a low number, Andrew, so I don't know. Should we expect a bit of the same? Obviously, it's going to be all down to luck. So we saw a full one last week. Well, essentially a full one. It was a 25 car. We're going to have to see what we get today. And I don't think it's going to be full, but it might be 22.
22 cars, maybe? Yes. 22 cars will be inverted for race number 2. And that's all the way down to Alistair Hatcher, leaving out only Duncan Cope, Sir Alan Toon, and Carl Hardy that finished on the lead lap. Stephen Daly 2 laps down, Dale Benison 6 laps down, Glenn Humberstone 6 laps down all the way to 28th position. Let's go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results, starting with our top 10.
So James Holman is going to end up winning race number 1. The car number 4 started on pole and ended up winning. Neil Ferrier started in 3rd place, ended up finishing 2nd. Chris Knox started in 5th and ended up in 3rd. Joe Winter, after a race-long battle in the early parts with Sam Smith, is going to end up finishing best of the rest in 4th place. Lee Holmes is going to finish in 5th. Andrew McEwen is going to finish in 6th place ahead of Shane Pickett. And Sam Smith, he's going to end up winning the Pro-Am class in 8th ahead of Tom Mayle and Michael Seal.
You're in 11th through 20th positions. We've got James Neve, Martin Johnson, Ian Manners, Scott Smith, all in a line there. Neve just missing out on that top 10 by literally under a tenth and a half, under 15/100ths of a second. Finishing 15th, though, you've got Martin Shirley, one of the pro drivers, mired back in the field. Then it's Adam Fox winning in amateur over Robin Walters, Craig Schill, Roger Morton, and Fiona Siddons, the rest of your top 20.
21st place, we're going to have Mark Oliver, and Alistair Hatcher is going to end up starting in pole due to finishing 22nd in the first race. Duncan Cope is just going to miss out in 23rd. Alan Toon is going to be the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Carl Hart is going to finish in 25th. Stephen Daly in 26th. Dale Benison in 27th. And Glenn Humberstone in 28th place.
Go ahead and go back now, JP, and take a look at the incidents coming to the line there. I noticed Shane Pickett is the one we really should go back and look at. We can go back and I guess get the finish for these guys, which should be right about here for our top 3. This is the racing coming, well, at least in the last lap, with Winter, Holmes, McEwen, and Pickett. I think. Yes, so Pickett's way out ahead of these guys, and he somehow finishes behind all 4 of them. Well, no, all 3 of them, because he actually finishes ahead of Tom Mayle still, so finishes behind multiple of these cars. How?
So either he ran out of fuel on the line, which could be possible due to how long we stay full throttle on this racetrack, or he made a mistake on this final part of the racetrack that really allowed the rest of them to catch up. You can see now Lee Holmes taking a bit of a wider line through the carousel, now heading into the kink. The top 3, well, they were unchanged until the line, and yeah, really weird situation.
We can first, I guess, get a look at exactly how James Holman sets this up, and if Ferrier, I guess, lifted. I don't think he lifted to get Holman alongside, but it's always a possibility. So on board now with Neil Ferrier.
You can see he doesn't even take the racing line, and if you look on board Chris Knox, you can see the Audi, the braking lights on the Audi. I just caught that on the broadcast. Yeah, you can see a bit of braking just to allow Chris Knox to catch up. And Shane Pickett, well, he's well clear of these guys, Andrew, but he ran out of fuel, looks like.
He just might have. I didn't think he did it first, but you might be onto something there.
Wow. And I mentioned on Tuesday when we had optimal, the first time we've been in Road America, we saw drivers running out of fuel. Luckily for him, he had enough momentum to, well, climb the hill. Unless, obviously, he just ended up lifting to let someone pass. But I don't think that was the case.
Let's listen here. Yeah, it started sputtering out of turn 14. He got back to the power. As soon as he went over that curbing on the left, it started sputtering. And he just went with it as far as he could across the line. Loses 1, 2, 3 positions down to 7th, only ahead of Sam Smith and Tom Mayle there in that pack. Wow. You see Michael Seal, I guess, went for a bit of a spin afterwards. But at least those guys made it to the line okay. I don't think we had too many issues outside of that. I didn't see too many incidents come to the line, so that kind of just wraps things up. That then is race number 1 for the day at Road America. Already, teammates controlling the day. RD Simsport owning Road America here in BSRTC so far, but we've got 3 races to go. 45 minutes total left of racing here at Elkhart Lake. Don't go anywhere.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this. a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake. Not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. And too quiet, the refuge we seek. Road America, the racetrack. National Park of Speed.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual Road America as we get ready for race number 2 and round number 5 of BSRTC Spring 2022. My name is Andrew Cardinal IV, JP Costa alongside, and JP, race 1 was a whole lot of fun. I think we say that a lot, but I think things are going to get better throughout the course of the day. I think these guys are going to learn more of how to tandem draft, how to even trio draft with these touring cars, and also how to beat that trio draft a little bit, how to try and beat the team orders and teammates throughout the field, and especially with the invert changing things up. 22 cars in the invert. It's going to change things.
It's going to change a lot. You know, having that big of an invert is really going to put a challenge on those guys that won the race, especially Neil Ferrier, Chris Stocks, and James Holman. But it's also really going to put the challenge on those guys that didn't have the best of race number 1. They're going to start up ahead. They're going to have 15 minutes to try and hold that lead, especially the faster guys coming through. But unlucky for them, they're not going to have that much of an easier time, Andrew, because, well, due to the draft, everybody, well, is going to be very close to one another.
Your top cars in the invert looking like this. Alistair Hatcher on pole Mark Oliver will start from the second place. Fiona Siddons from third. Roger Morton, your first Pro-Am starter, will start from the fourth spot. Starting fifth, it's Craig Schill. Also a Pro-Am, that's Robin Walters in the sixth spot. Martin Shirley, Scott Smith, row 4. Then Ian Manners and Martin Johnson make up row 10. You got to go all the way back to row number 6. Find another pro driver. There we go, Michael Seal in line there. Let's go ahead and get ready, though, for our start to race number 2. Red lights are on, and wow! A false start from teammates there on the front row. Alistair Hatcher went too early. Mark Oliver rolled with him for a second. That will be a penalty for Alistair. Three, 4 wide down to the first corner, and it's not going to work out.
Oh, it definitely did not. A bunch of cars going wide, a few of them making contact with each other. Definitely a much crazier start than we had in race number 1. And, well, down into turn 3, Elise Angel looks like much more orderly, but wow.
Big problems there in the first corner for these guys. Under that Sargento cheese bridge, and you can see Alistair Hatcher way out in front of the field. Now Roger Morton is that second place car. Mark Oliver is third. Fourth is now Robin Walters. Craig Schill up to the 6th spot. More contact in turn 5. One car goes sliding. One of the time for fun cars has made contact there with Tom Mayo. Well.
Well, indeed. At least heading to turn 7, you can see a few cars going side by side. Looks like no further contact. But, yeah. It was a bit more of a crazy start. You can see one car going into the grass. But looks like he was able to rejoin safely back on the track. So, that is that.
Oh, Mark Oliver way out to the left side.
Did he touch the wall?
I'm not entirely certain. I think there's more spinning behind these guys. I couldn't quite tell who that was. Maybe Tom Mail going for a drift now through the kink. My goodness, these guys. Oh, massive crash. No. Stephen Daly and one follows. More contact. Oh, boy. They're still crashing.
Oh, even more.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, even before... Oh, my God. Even before lap 1 ended, you can see 4 cars injured.
Neil Ferrier's in there. I see Andy McEwen, Stephen Daly.
Yeah.
McEwen's trying to pull away.
Yeah, but you can see, yeah, that car is destroyed.
Ferrier there as well. Wow. Fiona Siddons now with trouble in turn 14. Alistair Hatcher now into the pit lane. Serving that pass through. Let's go back and see what happened on lap number 1. There was a lot that just happened. It starts in turn 1, but I'm not entirely sure who it started with. It was one of the Time for Fun cars, and I want to say it might have been either Michael Seal or James Neve. Let's see, potentially even... Let's go on board here with James Neve. This should be right about the start of the race, waiting on the green flag, and rolling. So let's see what happens here for James Neve.
Gets a good start, threads the needle between 2 cars. It's quite brave, and he's gonna have, well, at least a few spots. You can see his teammate right behind him, getting a look on this blimp shot. Oh, unfortunately the trees cut back in. Oh, you're almost going 4 wide there, Andrew. Starts just
Shirley
behind him.
Seal.
Yeah, just behind James Neve. He's gonna get a touch from his teammate. But yeah.
This might show it nicely. Let's go back one more time here on just this group. I think that blimp cam should show us nicely. The tree's getting away for a second. Then we should see what actually happens in turn 1 and how these cars all spread out. So yeah, there's the trees for a second. By apex here, you can see where these guys all go. There was contact with Shirley and Seal. Cars checked up. Cars didn't check up. McEwen went sideways. One car out in the dirt. They keep racing. Tom Mail's in the center of all of it, really. McEwen goes on by his teammate of Neve. And Mail gets in deep, nearly getting into, I think that's Craig Schill in the middle of this. I think that's Ian Manners there as well, or Scott Smith. Tough to say. And then, it's out of the kink where things really get spicy. We'll try and get up to turn 9. There was some contact, actually. Even Daly, if we can find him now. kind of see what's going on there in turn 8. Stephen Daly and one other car right at the apex there. That bright blue car in the middle is Tom Mayle. That's what you're kind of looking at. And this should show us a lot better.
So you can see it's Daly, Holman, and Mayle. Looks like Mayle is getting, well, oh, he gets a bit wide. Holman's going to look to his inside, and so will Daly. And Andrew, 2 cars into the king sometimes doesn't work. And oh, he was tagged by Mayle, and oh my god.
4 cars came in. Scott Smith, one of them. That was a big hit there at the end. I think that needs its own replay.
Yeah, they were glued together. Smith.
Well,
and
Sir Alan Toon was actually trying to stop. He was trying to miss the crash. He saw
that's
it happening.
why.
And you'll see here, Scott Smith was all over him. Shirley was off in the dirt. Smith comes up here. He's in the throttle, in the throttle, in the throttle for a long time. And even after he initially lifted, he got back in the gas.
That was a massive hit between those two.
That'd be a lesson. If there's a yellow flag ahead, if there's smoke ahead, just lift. You can get that time back later. Side by side for the race lead, Robin Walters, Michael Seal. This is out of turn 5. JP, go ahead.
Yeah, even if you don't catch those times, it's better to finish finish a few positions than not finish at all, at least score some points. And unfortunately for them, looks like they will be DNF in not finishing the race. But yeah, this is a good battle right here. Walters, well, he had some bad luck in race number 1, Andrew, but looks like he's able to keep his own on race number 2, currently leading, holding off Michael Seal. Oh, it's certainly better than race number 1 for him.
Much better start to the second race so far, but we're not quite halfway through. And the Distinction Motorsport 563 has got company. Roger Morton is in the 3rd spot. This is a good run for car 592. He's cranking a lot of wheel into it there just to get it through the carousel. A pretty solid top 3, but they are spread out.
Yeah, not too close. Obviously, Seal and Walters are really close to one another. And yeah, Morton is just pretty much, I guess you can say, enjoying a little bit of slipstream from Seal. But you can see further behind Andrew, we have quite a few battles, especially for 5th place. Looks like this is Piggott and Smith. And yeah, we saw Piggott. We saw one car, I think it was Knox, maybe going a little bit wide. You can see a few of those tire tracks. But yeah, look at these side by side through the second to last corner. Quite brave. Well, and Piggott got this position somehow.
There's contact. Oh, here we go. This is, oh, that did not look good. Joe Winter gets back onto the racetrack. That was an unsafe rejoin, but thankfully no contact. Those are the best kind of unsafe rejoins, aren't they? Where one car goes back onto the racetrack all of a sudden, but hey, nobody gets hit. Lee Holmes from this battle. Michael Seal, though, going to take the race lead, it looks like, as we go down the front stretch. Robin Walters got set up there.
Yeah, but definitely not making it easy for Seal. You can see maybe even braving around the outside. He's going to be quite slow on the exit. You can see losing 7/10 of a second. And look at Morton. Morton might pass Walters right here.
Now to turn 3. Walters hangs on to the spot for now. Kind of crowds him over a little bit. Keeps the spot for now.
And you know what this is giving Seal? It's pretty much giving him the win if he hits his mark. Is he already 1.2? So if these guys battle a bit harder, well, they're going to lose the draft, and Seal is going to be on his own. So they really kind of have to work amongst each other, Andrew, but looks like Morton really wants this position. Now Walters goes quite defensive, and he's going to hold it off for now. And obviously this battle as well, not only allowing Michael Seal to essentially drive away, but closing in Piggott. So yeah, really unlucky for him, and you can see this battle right here. They're really going at it. Winter really defensive.
Joe Winter, one of the most defensive drivers in this series, certainly. Does not like when cars go by him, trying to hold up Lee Holmes here, hang on to the spot. James Neve now as well. Ian Manners, Carl Hardy in this line. James Holman even in that Audi way at the back of this line. So 6 cars under a blanket here as they roll through turn number 8.
Winter kind of really reminds me, Andrew, of Kevin Magnussen. Really makes it difficult for people to pass him. Really wants track position. And, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So far, well, he's holding 10th place wide. I guess you can say quite strongly, I guess.
And for the NASCAR minded, the equivalent would be Ryan Newman. Does not like people going on by. Certainly will make it difficulty, or make it difficult on you. Give you difficulty if you try and pass. Tom Mayle working on Craig Schill. I'm glad Craig is keeping the car alive in this race. I'm not entirely sure how his first race went off the top of my head. As, well, I just jinxed him, goes off track there. Maybe he'll lose this spot to Mayle. Yes, he will. But putting a good race together nonetheless. He's inside the top 10. 5th in class. That might change here. It's, whoa, Joe Winter, a big move to the inside.
Big move, and he's gonna get that position quite bravely. Now on the X, we're gonna have to see if he can hold it, but obviously he's gonna have a bit of help from Mail ahead. You can see kind of snaking through Andrew. This is a beautiful line. You can see all cars close to one another. Looks like the Hyundai of Mail has a bit of an edge over Winter, and looks like they might hold position, and it looks like Holman is the last driver on this pack, and you can see going side by side. Winter's gonna try to brave it around the outside, not gonna be close enough. Maybe on the exit he's gonna get a good enough drive. Further behind, is that Neve making a move?
It is James Neve to the inside of Craig Schill, goes on by that car. Lee Holmes now just ahead. Oh, Schill really got some grass there on exit.
Yeah, Holman got 2 positions between turns 1 and 3. He might get another one right here.
Looking now at Craig Schill. Ian Manders, I think, is sticking his nose out, trying to find something here back of the line. Let's see how this goes into turn 5. James Holman up the inside of Craig Schill, going to try and take that spot away. Holman will get it. Schill leaves plenty of room. Look at that for a facilitated pass. Beautiful stuff.
Absolutely. Just thinking it, I guess, just in the point situation, trying to hold it in. Holman is absolutely doing, well, beautiful job. You can see Craig Schill going a bit wide. He might lose a position. No, he keeps it, but yeah, these guys are definitely going at it. You can see now Winter having to defend from Lee Holmes right behind. That's, well, it's going to bring Neve even closer and Holman as well. So this is, well, they kind of spread out, Andrew, but just like that from one corner to the other, they really close back in. It looks like Tom Mayle is really catching up to Roger Morton ahead.
Yeah, Morton has dropped down through this order now. He's down to 7th spot. Was 3rd just a few laps ago, and unfortunately that race, well, I mean, it's still in a good spot, but likely going to get it passed up by a few cars before the end of this race. Tom Mayle, Joe Winter, Lee Holmes, they are on it today.
Yeah, they're absolutely on point. And that's unfortunate for the other drivers when you have such a pack really closing together and really running well. And you can see Roger Morton just started the lap in 4th place. You can see from the digital number right there. And so he ended up losing 3 positions on this lap alone. So maybe a mistake is going to ended up dropping him in. He was 2nd place in the Pro-Am class. Currently, he's 4th.
Shane Piggott squaring up with Robin Walters. A move here on the front stretch. Piggott trying to get the 2nd spot overall. Nearly a dead heat across the line between the 2 Hyundais. One a Veloster, one a Elantra. And it looks like the Veloster has just a little bit over the Elantra by the end of the turn 1, or by the end of the front stretch into turn 1. Takes the spot away on the outside. Good move there from Shane Piggott.
Really good. Maybe using the headlights to celebrate that move. Maybe. Well, it's certainly worth it on the outside. Not something we're seeing it every day. And you can see Chris Knox, Andrew, as well closing in. And the dark paint of the RD Sim Sport kind of looks menacing. He's going to have to defend now from Sam Smith on the back straightaway. You're going to have to wait and see if the 527 maybe will brave it on the inside. Chris, he's not looking defensive. He's confident that Sam won't go for a move. Maybe, Andrew, they're seeing the 2 ahead really battling amongst each other and really losing that gap.
Piggott and Walters side by side. Contact there during to turn 6. Walters took the inside in 5. Got the spot back away. Piggott now going to have to regroup as they go down to turn 7. Piggott moves over. Contact.
Oh, no. And fortunately for Walters, he's going to lose 2 spots. And yeah, unfortunately, but he's going to be close to these guys so he can try to make a few positions. But Andrew, I feel like if you're Piggott in that position, I think you may have to just yield.
Well, I think that's going to come down to a penalty. That one looked a little egregious at first glance. Being that it lost a driver a spot, I think that contact is going to end up going in the stewards meeting against Shane Piggott, at least in some regard, as Walters is trying to desperately to catch back up. His teammate Martin Johnson's behind, but that really looked like an incident to me, JP. That's going to be a little more than an RI, an incident, a racing incident, as they call it. And even if just for a loss of position, might at least get a warning. That was a little much. Roger Morton losing spots now on the outside of Canada corner, down to 10th. Here goes 11th with James Holman trying to look on by.
Look at how many spots you lose when you're leading a train like this. One after the other and nothing he can do, dude. Just that bad momentum, the exit of Canada corner. Really gonna try to hold it around the outside, but it's not gonna be enough. Neve is gonna get that position on the exit. He even might fall from Hardy as well. Michael Seal, meanwhile, Andrew is taking the white flag.
White White flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. There goes that group of cars underneath. Now, Seal's only got about a second back to Shane Piggott. I'm not sure if he's trying to save fuel here at the end. Of course, we saw how close Piggott was and even ran out in race number 1. These guys have really closed in. It was a 2-second gap, now down to 1. Knox and Piggott might not be out of this with a race win, JP.
Yeah, definitely not. Still, something could change. We're just going to have to wait and see. Obviously, the pressure is going to be on Michael Seal to not make a single mistake, as he's going to see that gap really closing down. We're going to have to wait and see if Piggott and Knox can do anything about it. Currently, Andrew, it looks quite safe, but not safe. I mean, not 100% safe.
On board here with Seal on the final lap. Through turn number 7 now. Piggott and Knox very close. They're closing in here down to 6/10, 5/10. So a half second into turn 8, and Piggott really trying to get through that corner nicely, does so. Sam Smith just behind these guys. Depending on how the rest of this lap goes, JP, it could be a 4-way battle to the start-finish line. Sam Smith is not far back. Seal trying to lead. He's going to go down to the kink with that lead spot, but for how long?
That's going to be the interesting question, Andrew. And if you're Chris Knox, if you get a good enough run on Shane Piggott, do you maybe go for a move, especially on a mistake like this? Could definitely happen. You can see now Piggott really closing into Michael Seal. The pressure is going to be on. He has the momentum. The door is going to be closed. They're also close to making contact. Maybe just a little bit. But Andrew, now everybody's going to be really close. Chris Knox, does he go for a move? Does he wait for the front straightaway? Does he risk third place? He's going to look to the inside. He's going to force Shane Piggott. He's going to try to dummy him. Piggott looking down the inside. Not going to be enough. And this all, it might just gift Michael Seal his win.
Seal was trying to save fuel there at the end. Up the hill to the start-finish line will go. And it will be Michael Seal over Shane Piggott and Chris Knox. Sam Smith wins in Pro-Am class. What a finish there. It could have been so much more, but I think that lift from Michael Seal into Canada Corners bunched them all up, and that move in turn 14 that Knox tried to pull that was closed off by Shane Piggott, that was really important as well.
Yeah, really important. Really important. Obviously saved Shane Piggott from probably finishing in third place, but obviously denied him the chance to fight for the win. But it was a very, very exciting finish. Sam Smith just finished right behind him as well, 7/10 of a second. I mean, the whole top 4, and less than 1 second separating them. That's the beauty of long straightaway courses, just like Road America.
Fiona Siddons, one of the final cars to finish this race up. Alistair Hatcher as well. They will go 19th and 20th and make it 20 cars that are eligible for the next invert, JP. Going a little bit off, yeah, and that car just not setting through the bumps there in turn 14 the way she needs it to. The back end kind of took off on her there and turn in. Alistair Hatcher going to get closed, but not take that spot away, I don't think. And positions 19 and 20 will go official here as they cross the line. Fiona 19th and Alistair in the 20th spot after his penalty off the start of the race, despite getting pole. So, invert number 2 for race number 3 on the way. Let's go ahead and see where these drivers will start from.
So last time around we had 22, if I'm not mistaken. This time around, Andrew, will we see a full? Likely not. It might be a short number, like 11 or 15.
15 cars going to be inverted for race number 3 out of the 20 eligible, and that puts Martin Shirley on pole now for race number 3. Let's go ahead and check out our top 10 race results from race 2.
Michael Seal is going to end up winning the race. Well, behind him is going to be Shane Piggott, who finishes ahead of Chris Knox. Sam Smith is going to win the Pro-Am class ahead of Robin Walters. Martin Johnson is going to finish in 6th place ahead of Joe Winter. Tom Mill is going to finish in 8th ahead of James Homan and Lee Holmes.
Finishing 11th, it is car 507. James Neve goes 4th place in class, it looks like, in Pro-Am. Then it's Roger Morton in the 12th position. Carl Hardy will finish 13th. Ian Manners 14th. Martin Shirley 15th. Craig Schill 16th. Glenn Humberstone, how about that? Wins in amateur over Dale Bennison, Fiona Siddons, and Alistair Hatcher in the top 20.
21st place is going to go the way of Mark Oliver. Andrew McCune is going to finish 22nd. Neil Ferry in 23rd. Scott Smith in 24th, ahead of Alan Toon, Stephen Daly in 26th, and Duncan Copendrew in 27th place.
So 27 cars in that one. Somebody didn't fancy tuning in, or turning up rather, for race number 2 in that one. But we have got race 3 on deck. In the meantime, the weather, yeah, that track temp is starting to go up here, JP, as we get into the midday at Road America. But I'd imagine things are going to change. See the wind picking up as well up to 15 miles an hour. We saw some 30-mile-an-hour winds on Tuesday. I think we'll see more of the same here in races 3 and 4. We will not be right back because we have Neil Ferrier standing side by side. JP, here is driver 91.
So Neil, I mean, unfortunately, race number 2 did not go your way, but how fun was race number 1?
No, yeah, look, that happens. First lap kind of thing, but race 2 is what it is. Race 1 was good. It was really good to make my debut in this series with RD Simsport. So yeah, to get a 1, 2, 3 was good. Yeah, as you see, we were kind of trying a team photo at the end, and then James just pipped me, so he owes me big time now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. What was about the Le Mans style finish?
It was just, I think it's the first time that RD Simsport have managed to get a 1, 2, 3. So it would have been, it's just nice to get a photo with all 3 of us going across the line, sort of in order. But as you seen, that never quite worked out. James decided to take the win by nothing. I lifted a bit too much, and James just crawled past me. But no, it was just purely for the team photo, just so the boys could see it. Because a lot of the boys can't watch tonight because they're busy elsewhere. So to get a 1, 2, 3 across the line was just basically to show the team that the guys
And,
that watch.
Oh, there you go. And starting race number 3 in 23rd place, what is going to be the game plan?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. I've not actually thought that way. Just make up as many positions as I possibly can, and then try and get myself into a good spot for race 4 reverse grid. So yeah, unfortunately tonight the reverse grid's not kind of worked in my favour. So yeah, we'll see where we can end up for race 3 and see if we can get ourselves into a good reverse grid spot, and then hopefully James and Chris can do the job at the front for the team.
Absolutely. With that being said, Neil, I'm going to let you focus for race number 3. Best of luck, and hopefully we can talk to you then.
Yeah, I'll speak to you afterwards. Thanks, boys.
Absolutely. And Andrew, that was Neil Ferrier. Bad luck on race number 2. A strong race number 1. We're going to have to wait and see if he can, repeat what we saw on race number 1.
So race 2 in the books, race 3 on the way. 15 cars being inverted for the front of our grid. And we will be right back. A quick break once more, and race 3 will be on the way.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed, even first without the sights and the sounds, without race cars shout, who don't understand racing appeals to our fashion, wonder, and the way that we feel. A built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the National Park of Speed.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the Virtual Road America as we get ready for race number 3. 15 cars being inverted this time around as opposed to 20 for that first one, or 22 rather for that first one. The smaller inverts, JP, they do a couple of different things. They obviously invert a smaller amount of cars, they keep the leaders somewhat closer to the front, and they keep those guys that had some trouble in the previous race further in the back, which means they've got to come back through the midfield. It's fun to watch, but it's certainly hectic for a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. In the interview that we just had with New Farrier kind of proves that, some drivers are just going to try to take a little bit safer and to try their luck on, well, obviously the final invert we're going to have after this race. So, it's kind of them just taking a little bit easy. Martin, Shirley, Ian Manners, they're not going to take it easy because, well, they have a great shot at victory, Andrew, tonight, starting both on the first row. Carl Hardy and Roger Morton, they're going to start in the second row, third and fourth place, respectively. Fifth place, we're going to have James Neve alongside of him, Lee Holmes. Seventh place, and starting row number 4, we're going to have James Holman on the inside and Tom Mayle on the outside in 8th place. And obviously, row number 5, we're going to have Joe Winter and Martin Johnson.
To finish up your inverted cars, it's Robin Walters, Sam Smith, Chris Knox, Shane Piggott, and Michael Seal, the winner of that last race, all the way down in 15th spot. Red lights are on, waiting on green lights now for race number 3. Green lights are on. There we go. Green flag is out for race 3 at Road America. Down to turn 1 we go. Shirley has already dropped down to 10th. And there is contact. A couple of cars get through it though. One car out in the dirt. I think that's Roger Morton and a few more crash.
Yeah, I can see 3 cars at least went into the
contact
gravel
up front.
trap. A bit
Holman
more.
moves Hardy out of the way.
Yeah, really just moved in, and Harley is going to have a really hard time. One more car going really wide. Is that Craig Schill, maybe Glenn Humberson? But look at the lead that we already have. And is that Holman up into second place already? He's doing a fantastic start, but wow, Andrew, kind of a chaotic, but so far looks like everybody's still in the racetrack. And look at this, a lot of cars going side by side into turn number 3. They're all going to do it safely, looks like, no contact, so that's quite good to see.
Sam Smith in the dirt coming up the hill. Oh, well, that's a big crash. Sam Smith in it. Shane Piggott goes on by and a few more. I think we're going to have a busy lap number 1 replay here in a second, JP.
Yeah, definitely we will. And it looks like the stewards are going to have a busy weekend, Andrew, as well. Quite a few incidents tonight, and you can see even more action coming down into turn number 8. Almost going 3 wide. That could not end well, but somehow it does. And everybody's going to point in the right direction. Now, obviously, Andrew, on lap number 1 of the previous race, I guess the hectic point was on the kink. Are we going to see something similar?
I think so. One car in the dirt. That is Joe Winter up there. Into the kink here. First few cars get through okay. One car in the wall. That's Shane Piggott. More cars in the wall again. 3, 4 of them.
Do they have any grip? Looks like everybody's just washing off wide and hitting the wall. So maybe the track somehow is not offering these guys any grip, and Shane Piggott is going to end up losing a position. At least we saw, I guess, 3 cars going into the wall. The track temperature is okay, Andrew. Maybe a bit cold, but wow, looks like we have no grip whatsoever.
Up to turn 14, the rest of these guys go. This will wrap up the lap here in just a few moments. You see the turn 14 exit up to the hill. Oh my goodness. One of the RD cars, I think that was Ferrier, just made a really, way too aggressive move on somebody. That will do it for lap number 1. Ian Manners, your race leader. There's a lot to go back and look at here.
Absolutely. I think it's all going to start, Andrew, on, turn number 1.
With the start. Martin Shirley, very slow getting off and away. You can see him just losing tons of spots. He was down to 10th immediately. And there's been so much, I actually forget who's in what here into turn 1. But this will be a look at it. It's further up the road, I suppose, or further back. There's one car way out in the dirt, and there was that jumble further back. McEwen, I think, involved in that. There's a lot going on. Let's go back one more time. I think that was Roger Morton and some of that as well. I think the onboard of McEwen way back here, and he's had another incident. We'll check that after the replay. So this is McEwen into turn 1. One car moved over, and he just lunged.
was
Man,
way
Gottlieb
too
Benison there. Yeah, that was way too deep. That was that just doesn't need to happen from the points leader of the series into turn 1 on the first lap of the race. I'm sorry. Andy, I think, can accept that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll hold his hand up and, well, accept that, you know, he was at fault there. But yeah, you can see 2 more cars went really wide on the exit of 3. We're gonna have not an incident, I think, on turn number 4, but we're on 5, sorry, and we're definitely gonna have something happen in turn number 6. You can see here a few cars going side by side, but the action point, Andrew, is just gonna be up the hill, up here, and obviously going 2 wide and maybe even 3 wide. We might have an occasion right here. Definitely not gonna work. Oh, he was. Oh,
Smith
who was
caught
that?
the grass. That was Sam Smith that
Yeah.
braked on the grass. He parks it right there with James Neve. That's just perfect placement for those two after that incident. And then they pull away. And then further up front, let's ride on board with Shane Piggott through the kink. That's where things really get interesting.
Yeah, with Shane, we're going to have the first, I guess, I don't know the word in English, but we're going to see exactly what happened to him, because after him, 3 or 4 cars followed him, and it looks like they had no grip. We're going to see if it's just going to be understeer or something else that happened. You can see one car going really wide. Is that Winter or Shirley? But you can see now Shane Piggott, he just turns in. No grip whatsoever.
Gets the wall there. Surprised he kept going. He's still in 5th. As more cars come on through, I'm just so surprised that we didn't have a bigger crash there.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody doing an excellent job of saving their car and pointing in the right direction. And then obviously we're going to have a few change of positions up ahead due to the slowdown. But, wow, that could have ended much, much worse, Andrew.
Then there was an issue for Andy McEwen shortly thereafter. He's still behind Stephen Daly here. Go back and let's fast forward a little bit through this and find the actual incident for him. It was good going up the hill. I think it might be in turn 1. 3 wide, he's got the 66 to the inside. I can't place car 66. It was Mick Anderson, and yeah, there was contact somewhere in there.
Up ahead. Yeah, up ahead. I'm pretty sure someone ended up checking up or
Oh,
going wide.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Mick Anderson dug in there.
Yeah, those suspension, the tires actually just dug onto the grass, and wow.
Let's see this one more time.
Yeah, you can see up ahead of him, and then everybody kind of just checks up on to one another, looks like.
You get a good look at where he digs in. Not really. Well, you can kind of see it from there. It turns the entire car over.
Yeah, as soon as he enters the grass, the car just flips on its side, and he just gives a love tap to McEwen.
All right, well, we're already on lap number 3. That's these guys give us way too much to look at here. As Shane Piggott has a problem. See the start of this, actually. So another replay. We apologize. We'll get to live after this. This is in the kink, though. Remember, he had already had one bad run through the kink.
Yeah. And,
I think that was Ian Manners that he was behind, and Ian was a little bit slower, and he got into him.
Unfortunate. Luckily for him, he didn't collect anyone else.
So, lap 3 will go in the books. That was a whole lot of this race, and now we get to watch it live properly. These guys, they're all over the place. James Holman leading, Tom Hale second, then it's Joe Winter, Chris Knox, Ian Manners, Lee Holmes, Martin Johnson across the line, then Neil Ferrier, Martin Shirley, and Michael Steele in 10th. 22nd through 27th in the pit lane out of the race.
No, that's crazy, and unfortunately for them. And you can see now, well, yeah, unfortunately for them, just everything that I thought about just completely slipped my mind. And, well, coming back to live racing, Andrew, this is the 501 of Ian Manners, kind of trying to chase down Chris Knox up ahead for 4th place. And we're going to have to wait and see if he can do anything about it. Maybe just follow Chris Knox. We know how fast he was on the previous race, and we know how fast he is. So if the 501 can keep up with him, he might be in a shot of maybe closing up to Winter and Tom Hale.
Ian Manners currently the leader in Pro-Am. Second going the way of Martin Johnson. Your first amateur car in line is Alistair Hatcher following a penalty in race 2. And he's got some damage you can see there on the right front, but he is a top amateur driver. A lot of the amateurs that started the day, they're no longer here. A lot of them. At least multiples are up. There were more yellow numbers on the ticker earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really unfortunate to see as, oh, this is 592. And is that Craig. No, that's not Craig Schill, is it?
Roger Morton.
Roger Moore. There we go. So unfortunately for him, looks like he just took a detour on turn number 5, and yeah, he's going to be losing at least one position because he started the lap on 18th place. Now coming back to the lead battle, Tom Mayle really closing up to Holman. They were teammates previously on the previous season, weren't they, Andrew?
I thought so.
Yeah.
You know, this feels like one of those liveries that you run after you lose a bet. So I wonder if Mayle lost a bet as Winter goes up the inside and he just contact. I think if anything there, Mayle might have turned in on exit, but there's more happening back here. Martin Johnson, there's lots of spots to Neil Ferrier. Chris Knox now trailing Joe Winter.
And now they're going to try to switch up positions. Chris trying to, well, make it an RD Sim Sport 1-2 as it was. And it looks like we have even more issues outside of the kink. This is Sam Smith.
Sam Smith in big trouble here, trying to get a good look at it. This might be the best we get. That car is a hunk of junk now.
Yeah, really destroyed. And Andrew, on this part of the racetrack, it must mean that, well, he got loose out of the kink and unfortunately
Joe Winter sideways contact with Tom Mayle,
but he
loses that spot. Ian Manners goes on by now into turn 3. I think we're gonna have some angry drivers after this one.
Yeah, maybe. I think definitely so, because he had light flashing. That can only mean one thing after contact, Andrew. You're not happy, and you want the driver to know. So Joe Winter, after passing Tom Mayle, looks like unfortunately he ended up losing a few extra positions. And Ian Manners, Andrew, just by minding his own business, he's already up to 4th place, and he might actually have something to, well, try to pass Tom Mayle in the upcoming few laps. But Joe Winter right here,
he was leading after lap 1. He was ahead of these guys earlier, and they went on by, so he's just getting those spots back by attrition.
Oh yeah, true, completely. So yeah, just trying to get those spots in. Obviously, as the more spots he gains, Andrew, that's more spots between him and Johnson, that is currently in 8th place and 2nd place in the Pro-Am. So the more the better.
Holman leading by over a second to Chris Knox. Those are 2 teammates. Mayle, we thought was with RD Sim Sport, but may have lost a bet last week. And Ian Manners in that 4th spot. The first odd one out.
Unfortunately to see. Now Tom Mayle currently, well, not close enough to Chris Knox and not close enough to Manners to defend, just having to mind his own business. Further behind, well, this is looks like this is a battle for 16th place. This is Stephen Daly. You can see right behind him Glenn Humberstone and Roger Morton not too far as well. So Stephen Daly, Andrew, unfortunately after the promising race number 1 he had, unfortunately this one and not looking so great.
Neil Ferrier, Lee Holmes, they're side by side. Ferrier trying to stay there as they go into 13, it looks like. Gives that spot up eventually. I think he's trying to take this spot away, really. So, had it for a moment, gives it up now as Daly loses the position to Humberstone further back here. Oh, even Roger Morton making a move here on Stephen Daly. Stephen Daly is very wounded.
Yeah, let's see. He's just trying maybe to nurse the car home, Andrew. Maybe trying to, well, just stay in the lead lap with 3 minutes to go. He's definitely going to do that if this damage is not substantial enough. And just trying to maybe get a stroke of luck on the invert, trying maybe to hope for a full one. And we're really unfortunate to see, isn't it?
The crashes in this race certainly are rather unfortunate. There's some messaging going on in Discord that's definitely some of these drivers are upset. This is kind of a detour from what's been a great week of racing at Road America. It's been good with drama, sure, with crashes, definitely, but with great moves, great battles, great side-by-sides, great finishes. This is kind of the odd race out, honestly, for this week. Here comes Ferry to the inside of Holmes for turn 5, rather, for position 6. Lee hard on the brakes, can't quite keep it. Oh, contact.
Oh, on the exit, really close between those two, so they are racing quite hard. But it looks like they're going to be sticking, Neil Ferry is going to be sticking ahead of Lee Holmes for the time being. But I don't think this battle is over just now. And you can see how close number 35 is. But we know how fast Neil is as well. So it's going to be interesting. You can see Shirley just behind these two going a little bit wide on 7 and through turn 8. Well, they're going to hold position. But Lee is really close to Neil. So he's not going to give him any breathing room whatsoever.
Missed the battle for 6th. Winter's starting to close back in on Manners ahead. They'll go through the kink now. Manners, your Pro-Am leader, sitting in the 4th spot. While Craig Schill has company from Robin Walters and Glenn Humberstone just had a crash. With Roger Morton, it looks like.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him. He's going to be losing one position, and that's going to be to Stephen Daly, just ahead. And Daly actually might get a position on Morton, Andrew, if he gets a good enough momentum, but I think the car may be too wounded to even challenge on a straight line, and no.
Craig Schill. He has had a rough week.
Yeah, he did. And unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be the end of race number 3 for him. With, well, 2 laps to go, and with 2 laps to go, Andrew, we're going to have a battle for the race victory between teammates.
White flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. Chris Knox and James Holman side by side. Knox takes point. Tom Mill closing. And Holman lost 3/10 there by the corner. Winter's going to go on by Manners. Manners off track. He'll find a way back on, just ahead of Lee Holmes. Here comes Martin Johnson. The battle now for Pro-Am. Johnson to the inside, right in turn 3. And he's going to lose the spot back. He overshot the corner. Contact on exit.
Wow, he was way too optimistic to try to go down the inside, and he may even lose one more position to Shirley. He's not going to have the momentum on the exit of 3, and that's going to end up costing him one position. So by looking at the potential race victory for his class, he's going to have to settle for maybe 2nd place, as he and Shirley are going to battle side by side down into braking zone. That's way too deep. And whoa, that luckily for both of them, for Manners, that was safe. That was not too hard of a contact. Are they still side by side? No, so Johnson holds position.
That worked. That was brilliant. That got him on by Martin Shirley. He's back in this race now for the win.
Yeah, he is, and this is going to be extremely exciting now as we head out of turn number 7 into turn number 8. The gap between them is 4.3 of a second, so you can see Johnson really deep on their braking on each and every single braking zone. That's going to end up losing him a bit of time on the exit, but wow, Andrew, heading into Canada corner, it might be all or nothing.
Martin Johnson trailing Ian Manders. We'll come back to that. Up ahead, Chris Knox leads through the kink, and it looks like he's putting some gap here on James Holman. Car 88 right back on top of the scoring pylon. He's been great in the touring cars lately, especially since joining RD Simsport. No detour here. He has been fantastic. Winter and Ferry are side by side. They'll go down to Canada corner. Ferry on the outside trying to take that spot away. Shirley and Johnson back here battling. Martin Shirley back to the inside of Martin Johnson, and that just might, in fact, yes, it will keep Martin Johnson from an opportunity to win in class. They'll have to settle for 2nd. Knox and Holman through 14. Then it's Mail. Then Ferrier and Shirley still battling. Ferrier's got the spot out of turn 14. Manners and Shirley. Manners has the spot, and up to the start-finish line, Chris Knox wins race 3.
He made a pass on the final lap of the race. That's all he needed. Holman, unfortunately, is going to have to settle for 2nd place. Look at these two. Well, that was a close one, Andrew, and that's going to mean that Neil Ferry is going to finish ahead of Joe Winter. Lee Holmes is going to finish in 6th place. Ian Manners, as you mentioned, is going to hold off for 7th, winning the Pro-Am class. And Johnson, after braving it around the, going for the inside of turn number 3, Andrew, at the end of the day, it did not work for him.
A few more cars coming across. Roger Morton, Stephen Daly, Glenn Humberstone. Those two are close, actually, Daly and Humberstone. They draft across the line. Dale Bennison next up, then Sir Alan Toon will wrap things up. Sam Smith takes a DNF there on the last lap, will not quite finish. Craig Schill 1 lap down, Shane Piggott just behind him. One more invert today, JP. Let's see how it goes down.
Let's see, and a few drivers will want a full one on this one, Andrew. I'm pretty sure the leaders will want the lowest number possible, which is currently 11th. And, oh boy. Oh boy.
Every car that's eligible is getting flipped.
How about that?
Now, Sam Smith had an incident there on the last lap, but it seems like may still get the invert. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him here. Oh, that's right. We saw him with the big damage a little prior to this. I think he was going just about the entire race like this. I am impressed. He has enough right front. All right, we're going to go back and find his actual incident here. So Sam Smith, much earlier on in the race, we had seen when he was damaged in the Canada corner. I thought that was it for him. I was surprised to see that he was only on on that last lap out of the race. The car 527, what in the world happened?
It was the wheel missing was on the right hand side, wasn't it?
It was the right front that was gone.
So I wonder if he maybe got lost on the exit of the kink and, I mean, shot himself, unfortunately, to the concrete wall. Because that has to be the only part where you're going to hit the car hard enough on the right side.
Let's check this out for Sam Smith. Into the kink now. This is where we assume problems happen. Wide there to the grass, and yeah, oh my goodness, what a vicious hit.
What? That was absolutely massive.
You don't usually get that kind of hit on iRacing. Usually you get more of a glancing blow, but that time the car catches on the wall there. Wow.
And that, I mean, hopefully he was not wearing a VR headset, Andrew. Otherwise, he might have to sit race number 4 out. I would definitely get dizzy after that one.
All right, let's watch this in slow-mo. This is going to be one of the bigger hits we see all week. Just comes out, and you can see the tire tracks from somebody else already into the grass there. So easy to do in these touring cars. Gets sideways across the grass, and just is not able to. I don't know. You know, I'd like to see his throttle tracing there if he stayed in the gas or if he lifted. The car just catches. Wow. See Stephen Daly looking on at that moment. That is a big hit for Sam Smith.
That is an absolutely massive hit. That was insane.
Let's go ahead then and take a look at our race results from this one, JP. Here's your top 10, led by Chris Knox.
Exactly. Chris Knox, the number 88 driver, made a move on the final lap. That's all he needed. And, well, ended up winning the race. James Holman, unfortunately, finishes second. Tom Mayle is going to finish in third. Neil Ferry is going to finish in fourth place. A fantastic comeback, Andrew, from 23rd to 4th. Joe Winter is going to finish 5th. Lee Holmes in 6th. Ian Manners is going to win the Pro-Am class in 7th, ahead of Martin Shirley. Martin Johnson is going to finish in 9th place. 2nd place in the Pro-Am class. And Michael Seal in 10th place.
Finishing 11th, that's Robin Walters in car 563. Carl Hardy goes 12th. Then it's Scott Smith, Alistair Hatcher, Roger Morton, your top 15. And it looks like Alistair with an amateur win there in car 964. Second place in that class, Glenn Humberstone. Then third is Dale Bennison. Fourth, Alan Toon. And fifth, but 20th anyways, is Craig Schill. One lap down, interestingly enough. They're placing Craig Schill, at least iRacing is placing Craig Schill ahead of Sam Smith. I wonder if they'll both be eligible for the invert. Shane Pickett there in 22nd, then Fiona Siddons, Mick Anderson, Andy McEwen, Mark Oliver, and James Deave. I'm curious by the fact that Craig Schill is being placed ahead of Sam Smith. My timing and scoring on my right side says that Sam started the final lap and that Craig did not. So I'm really surprised that Sam is being placed behind Craig in these results. We'll see exactly how that runs down on our grid, I suppose, for race number 4. So that is 3 races in the books. Very glad that Ian Manners hung on for that race win in Pro-Am, JP. But I would have liked to see Martin Johnson have a better opportunity at trying to pass.
Absolutely. It's unfortunate that, I mean, it was an exciting battle. Unfortunately that we couldn't see, going all the way to Canada corner, but I'm sure he's going to learn from it. And, well, who knows? Maybe we're going to see a similar battle on race number 4.
We'll get ready in just a few moments for that 4th race on the day. Thanks for joining us so far. Hopefully you'll stick with us here for the next few moments as we get ready for the 4th and final race on the day, round number 5 for BSRTC Spring 2022 season, and it's coming at you in just a few more moments.
For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake. Not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek. Road America, the racetrack, the national park of speed.
Welcome back to the virtual Road America at Elkhart Lake. And JP, first things first, thanks to Nick Clibbins out in the YouTube chat, of course, one of the stars on Tuesday evenings with BSR. Thanks to Nick for letting us know that Sam Smith is in fact using VR and a motion rig, and definitely felt that hit in the kink in that last race, in race number 3, about midway through. He definitely felt that one. That's a big one.
I mean, we felt that from the broadcast booth, Andrew, and we're just watching. I mean, can you imagine how it feels on VR, having your car spun around, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times within 2 seconds, and obviously feeling that in your body? Well, I'm glad I'm not in his position.
Yeah, I will take my stationary rig with just a bit of force feedback over that one. That definitely would have hurt. He's going to feel that one at least for this evening. If not in the morning. That was definitely a big hit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule as to how we got here one more time, JP. This is how things look coming in to this season. Silverstone International, Donington Park Grand Prix, Knock Hill Reverse. 3 tracks that we had last season, but 3 different layouts than we had last season. Then we're adding in Sonoma, Elkhart Lakes, Road America, where we're at today. Then it's Canadian Tire Motorsport Park next week, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Daytona, and Sebring to wrap up the season. 10 really good racetracks, 10 really good layouts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much fun. I mean, we mention each and every single week, but it's so much fun. This schedule has been absolutely amazing, and is just providing great racing, great action throughout the 4 races that we have each and every single week. And yeah, we still have plenty more, Andrew. Canadian Tire next week. That's going to be a fun one to see, especially in the TCRs.
Definitely looking forward to the rest of the season with each of these different cars. Obviously, Miatas on Tuesday evenings, touring cars on Thursday evenings. It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way through. Warm-up wrapping up, and oh boy. So Sam Smith, after being credited with the last place of the car, is still running there after his hit in race 3. He will be starting on pole from this one, so he's happy then that Craig Schill was oddly placed ahead of him there on that last lap. Craig Schill will start from the 2nd spot. It will be Sam Smith starting on pole. Let's go ahead and take a look through some of those inverted cars. You can see them grinning up now. Row 2, JP, it's Sir Alan Toon and Dale Bennison. Row 3, you get Glenn Humberstone and Stephen Daly. Row 4, it is Roger Morton and Alistair Hatcher. And to complete your top 10 here with the invert, Scott Smith and Carl Hardy.
11th place, we're going to have Robin Walters, Michael Sewell in 12th place. Row number 7, we're going to have Martin Johnson and Martin Shirley. Row number 8, we're going to have Ian Manners and Lee Holmes. Row number 9, we're going to have Joe Winter and Neil Ferrier. And row number 10, Andrew, we're going to have Tom Mayle and James Holman.
Let's get the rest of the field quickly, shall we? Chris Knox, Shane Piggott. We're going to keep going for a moment. Fiona Siddons, Mick Anderson, all the way back to Andy McEwen, James Neve, and finally, that is it, actually. James Neve will start shotgun on the field here. Green flag is out at Road America for the final time today. The final time in round 5. Look at them all go side by side already. Already crashing, maybe? In contact anyways. We'll go down to turn 1. It is dark out there as we get through the first couple of corners in this 4th race. Race leader, it is Sam Smith as Roger Morton is in trouble in the back. More crashing. You can see it there. Tom Mayle and one other. Neil Ferrier in the wall. Wow.
Oh, indeed. A crazy start race number 4. Unfortunately, those cars, they're going to be going home early tonight, Andrew. And you can see the rest of the field. The leader has absolutely checked out, at least for the time being. You can see 2nd place right there, Daly, making his way through a few extra battles. Oh, almost contact right there. Oh!
Martin Shirley wipes out James Neve in turn 5. The field keeps on going. Through turn 6, down to turn 7. Piggott goes wide. Gets back on the racetrack. Chaos in race 4.
Absolute chaos. Had a few extra cars going wide on turn 7. Down into turn number 8. Looks like everybody's kind of orderly. Once again, the leader. Once again, Andrew going away, checking out. You can see the rest of the field. Looks like maybe a bit of contact. One car into the grass on the carousel. That's definitely not where you want to be. You can see side-by-side action. Almost contact on the XR. Are they all going to be able to stay on the racetrack? Just barely. But they all point in the same direction, even on the return.
Oh, one car goes out in the kink. Oh, more crashing through the kink. One car in the wall. I think that was Lee Holmes. A good look at everybody out in the dirt there. Wow. Yeah, Lee Holmes does a lot of damage here.
Yeah, his car is... Oh, yeah, you can see... Wow. Oh, unfortunately for him, his race day is over as well. Cutting further ahead, you can see a few extra cars making their way through the final sequence of corners right here. Even more action, Andrew. A lot of drivers not being afraid to overtake whatsoever. Oh, TR Team Simsport. Who is that drifting?
Up the hill we go. Sam Smith, your race leader across the line, completes lap number 1. Stephen Daly 2nd. Michael Seal 3rd. Then Robin Walters, Craig Schill, Dale Bennison, Carl Hardy, Martin Johnson, James Holman, Scott Smith, your top 10.
That one
already
nice knocks.
20th, so 7 cars wiped out on lap 1.
Wow. Wow, that is crazy. A lot of cars, unfortunately, already going away, which is really sad to see.
Ian Manor slow.
Yeah, he's slow out of 2. I wonder if
we heard he had some hardware issues, actually. Thanks to Alan out in the chat for telling us that one. Hardware issues, potentially, for Ian Manners. He's slow.
Yeah, he's slow. He's not being able to put the throttle. You can see blinking a little bit as we have one car going, well, really wide on the exit of 3. You can see now here Daly and Seal, they're still going at it, Andrew, for 2nd place, and this is allowing Smith ahead. Look at the gap that he's already has, 3 seconds.
This is effectively race lead in pro. If they catch Sam Smith, this will definitely be the race win. But yeah, wow, they are 3 seconds. Thanks for pointing that out. I hadn't noticed that at first. 3 seconds behind Sam Smith here at the start of this one. Carl Hardy back here battling with one of his teammates, Dale Bennison, as well as James Holman up the inside of Bennison now. And Knox will follow through after winning race 3. Scott Smith, Mick Anderson, Shane. Oh, Knox sideways, hangs onto it. Got some contact there with Bennison.
He likes to drift. That's the 2nd time he has done that. Unfortunately, this time he's going to be losing a few spots instead of trying to make one, but he's going to be able to save that. But wow, that was quite crazy. And you can see now, look at how close everybody is, Andrew. This is fun to watch.
Here with Andy McEwen, trailing Shane Piggott and Mick Anderson. This is down to Canada corner. Anderson protective on the inside from Piggott. Here comes McEwen to fill that gap, and they check up on the left side. McEwen's going to go on, well, he's alongside Piggott. Piggott now on the inside for Bill Mitchell-Bend. Going to get the advantage there to the inside of Anderson. Anderson out wide. Opening the door now for McEwen to the inside. Or, well, the outside for the corner. Joe Winter in line there as well.
And they went side by side through turn 14. And unfortunately, looks like McEwen couldn't really get the position. He's going to have to stick on behind. But you can see, Andrew, rows of cars going side by side. We might even see 3 wide action shortly. You can see one car really weaving, trying to find any sort of spot. That's Joe Winter trying to find a gap, but he cannot do it down into turn number 1. He's going to have to follow those guys ahead.
Scott Smith and Chris Knox also battle through turn 1. Knox can get the benefit of that one, it looks like, down to the inside of turn 3 now. Carl Hardy loses the spot just ahead of these guys. Hardy slides in behind Holman, who's behind Johnson. If you go back up to the front, Stephen Daly and Michael Seal, these guys are going to need to start to work together, but Seal says, nope, down to the inside of turn 5. I want this spot, and he's going to take it.
Yeah, he probably thinks he's faster than Daly currently, and he might have a better shot at catching Sam Smith ahead, and he definitely wants to do so, especially having track position. So now Daly is going to have to either help or start battling even harder Michael Seal, and we're just going to have to wait and see what he's going to choose to do in the upcoming few laps.
Shane Piggott goes on by Scott Smith now in turn 6. Benison and McEwen for the Mac. McEwen has had a really rough day today, JP. A couple of big incidents, finishing in the back a couple of times. Now, the inside of Benison, this is for 12th. He'll take it away.
Yeah, he's going to get that position. A good move for him up to 12th place. Now he's only pretty much a second behind Scott Smith, just ahead of him. So he's going to have to focus ahead, Andrew. He cannot keep his eyes too focused on the rear view mirror to see if Benison is going to maybe try to, well, get the position back. I doubt he will, but, you know, you just need to focus ahead. Currently, the number 18, as you mentioned, not having the best of days. And we mentioned, Andrew, even though he was 100 points clear as he came into tonight's round, that could change quite a bit.
And it has. He's already second in points now. James Holman has taken over first spot. I'm glad you gave me that segue. That is perfect. Reading each other's minds anyways, as Holman is ahead of Carl Hardy and Robin Walters make contact here into Bill Mitchell Bend. And look at Ferrier. No, that's Knox at the inside. Hardy goes out wide. Walters hangs on to the spot. Piggott now side by side with Hardy there. But James Holman has now taken over the points lead atop this entire series by 42 points into this race, and Michael Seal is only an extra 50 back. So Seal and Daly have both made a lot of points up on McEwen today. Seal and Holman have. Holman enough to take over the points lead.
And you can see now Chris Knox is going to try to follow his teammate. He's going to try to pass Johnson. This is going to be close. They're going to make contact a little bit through turns number 1 and 2. They're still going to stick side by side as we head into turn number 3. But Chris Knox looks like he just ended up, well, choosing to, go a little bit, well, just stay behind. And, well, he didn't get the best runs. They pretty much exited pretty much the same. But, Andrew, you mentioned that Holman is 40-something points ahead of McEwen, correct?
42 now.
That means he almost outscored McEwen by 180 points tonight.
I believe it. The way McEwen's day has gone. Here we go. Chris Knox on the outside at turn 5 now. Still can't get by Martin Johnson. Michael Seal is starting to cut into Sam Smith's lead.
Yeah, this is good to see. Yeah, the gap is down to 1.6. So that move was the correct move right here. And Daly should be thanking Michael Seal currently because they're catching Sam Smith and they're catching him fast with 6 minutes and 30 to go. The gap is down to 1.3, 1.4 seconds. So it's looking good for the pro drivers, and they're dragging Robin Walters as well, Andrew.
Walters continuing on. Just kind of following it, just absolutely following them, doing what he needs to do here to try and make this battle for the race win. Doug Schill in the 5th spot, 3rd in class. Then it's Holman, Johnson. That's where you get all this mess again. Oh my goodness. Sideways, that was drifting from McEwen.
Yeah, he's pushing to the limit, drifting, obviously dangerous, but he gets some extra style points heading into Canada corner. They're all going to be, well, single file. Looks like maybe on the exit we might see something from Carl Hardy. He's going to end up pushing his competition just ahead. That's Scott Smith. So this is a battle for 10th place. This is a battle for, looks like, 5th place in the Pro-Am class. And you can see heading into the final corner, Andrew, lots of action happening. Chris Knox still trying to find a way past Johnson ahead.
Up the hill they'll go. Chris Knox still trying to get by car 505. Seal goes purple as he starts to bear down on Sam Smith. Only a little over a second now for Smith to use. I wonder if maybe he's been able to save some fuel and go a little bit harder here at the end of the race. Oh, man. This is rough. Be a sitting duck pretty much in this case, where Seal is just this much faster. You can only imagine. Knox finally goes on by Johnson, finally gets that spot away for 7th. 9th now is Piggott, who's going to have a chance. And whoa, McEwen goes way out wide in 3, drops down to 14th spot.
Yeah, and he's going to be losing a lot of time in this back straightaway just by going too wide. And you can see now this train of cars. This is going to be interesting. Johnson is looking to the outside of Chris Knox. Will he try to brave it under braking, or will he just yield that position? Looks like he's focusing on the exit, and further behind, that is Scott Smith. He's going to go sideways a little bit on the apex, and he's going to end up losing the position to Carl Hardy, managing to stick behind him through turn 6. And, well, now Carl Hardy up to 10th place. Scott Smith having to defend from Joe Winter.
Joe Winter there in the 12th position. Going to put some pressure now on car 502, it looks like. Oh, really putting some pressure on him. Almost some contact there to turn number 8. They'll go onto the carousel.
Joe Winter pretty much close, extremely close to Scott Smith ahead. Around here is really difficult to make a move unless the driver ahead makes a mistake and heads off into the grass, which is not the case. So now he has to focus on the exit of the kink. Maybe we'll see a move happening to Canada corner. Everybody managing to keep the car in the racetrack. And we're going to have to wait and see, Andrew. Will Joe Winter try to brave it on the inside or the outside?
Robin Walters with problems. Craig Schill as well. It looks like no. Yeah, Craig Schill does lose spots. This is Robin Walters stuffed in the barrier in Canada corner, and he'll take a tow.
Oh, and that's going to be a big incident.
No problem here for Robin Walters. Go back and find it here. So Robin was sitting in the 4th position, just riding, as you mentioned earlier, behind Michael Seal and Stephen Daly. Daly a little loose there on 8, but this is going to happen at a Canada corner, so just watch.
Heading out of the carousel, you can see Robin is very close to Daly. Daly goes a little bit wide. He's going to touch the grass. Oh, Andrew. Will this be a battle for position right here that we're going to see the incident? Robin kind of lifts a little bit onto the kink, and you can see he gets a way better run than Daly. Is he going to look to the inside? No, he's going to be forced to the outside. They're going to go side by side. Is there any sort of contact between those two? Oh, a bit. Just enough to push him into the grass, and they're braking.
Absolutely right. It was just enough to push him out into the grass. That ends Robin Walters' day. And then, moments later, we've had a problem, a disappearance, if you will, of car 57. I don't see Michael Seal anywhere. He's had a crash. He's had an incident somewhere. He was this close to the race lead to Sam Smith, and now Smith, I think, will be able to cruise away to a victory. This is what's happened just afterwards. You saw Stephen Daly and Robin Walters. This is the turn 1. Oh! Whoa, no! Hardware failure for Michael Seal.
Oh, heartbreaking. And you can see he gets it back straight away.
Was it actually a hardware? I mean,
I think it was. The wheel was just yanked to the left, and you're going to see it right here under braking.
Yep.
Boom. Yep. And you can see he's going to get it straight back. You're going to see the wheel straightening. Wow. Really unfortunate.
Heartbreak for Michael Seal. He was there, and I think he was going to win this race.
I mean, it's very hard to bet against him. Andrew, he was able to cut that 3-second gap to nothing. And, yeah, unfortunately for him. Fortunately, though, for Sam Smith, he currently has, well, nearly a 3-second gap once again.
And fortunate as well for Chris Knox and Craig Schultz, an extra couple of spots they've gained in the last few laps. Sam Smith no longer has to worry about a Pro-Am. Craig Schultz is going to take 2nd in class. Hardy 3rd, Johnson 4th, Scott Smith 5th, as we do have the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams for the final time today. And by nearly 3 seconds, Sam Smith going to power away to victory unless something happens on this final lap.
I think we should knock on wood, Andrew. Our commentator Curtis has been on point in the past few weeks, so hopefully nothing happens. You can see now Chris Knox managed to pass Craig Schill, and you can see a bit of damage to the rear end of the number 88, so a bit of action definitely happened around there. And oh, look at this battle right here. This is Joe Winters, Smith, Hardy, Johnson. And wow, this is a big battle. This is definitely far from over from these guys.
Yeah, this begins with Hardy in 7th and Scott Smith in 8th. Joe Winter in 9th. That's the blue 11 car. And the white car center screen is Martin Johnson. That's 10th place, with Mick Anderson and Andy McEwen just behind. They're all dancing around, finding a spot for turn 5, too wide, and here comes Mick Anderson, and Scott Smith goes way out wide, and he will have a proper spin almost. Oh my goodness, good catch. Here's the battle up to turn 6. McEwen goes to the right side now of Mick Anderson, trying the outside. These two are not happy with each other. They had a moment in race number 3. Mick Anderson mostly not happy with McEwen. As Shane Piggott might have a go of things here at Craig Shell before the end of this race. They're into the carousel now.
Oh, he definitely will. The last lap of the last race of the day, Andrew. This is the point right here, and he's going to be fighting for 5th place. So we're going to have to wait and see on the exit of the carousel. You can see the Veloster behind just gets a better line, gets better momentum on the kink. He's going to have to lift a little bit, unfortunately. So he's going to kill essentially that momentum, trying to get a good enough exit, and he does. He's very close, Andrew. The chance of we seeing him move down into Canada corner is going to be big. Sam Smith is not going to have to worry about certain move, as he's going to be all on his own. And you can see now Shane Piggott looking down the inside, and they're going to make a little bit of contact on exit. And looks like it's going to be all fair. Is Shane Piggott letting him go, or does he have enough damage?
I think his car might have been broken there. Regardless, Sam Smith up ahead at a turn 14 will claim this one. Race 4 goes the way of the Pro-Ams with car 527 getting a win. Stephen Daly will win in Pro, it looks like, and yes, he will across the line. We'll wrap that one up for car 64. So close to an overall win. And I've got to check a fact here. I want to check a stat. Yes, Sam Smith won the last race of both race days this week. Sam Smith winning race number 4 on Tuesday, and now winning race number 4 on Thursday. Sam Smith, fantastic stuff. So Sam Smith does win both last races this week. Wins race 4 on Tuesday, wins race 4 today. Stephen Daly wins in Pro, and Dale Benison will take the amateur race win over Glenn Humberstone. And I think, JP, are you back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think it's more so on my back. My Discord went all kinds of bananas there at the end of the race, but regardless, we are back for this one. What a finish. What a finish.
Absolutely. What a day of racing, actually. This was lots of fun, lots of action, lots of overtakes, unfortunately, lots of instants, but, I mean, it's all part of racing.
That it was. Let's go back and see if we can get, well, first off, the results here today, starting with our top 10.
So Sam Smith is going to end up winning race number 4 once again. For the past 2 rounds, he has done that, right, Andrew? So a really good job from him. Stephen Daly is going to finish second, 3.3 behind the leader. James Holman is going to finish in 3rd place ahead of his teammate Chris Knox. Craig Shell is going to come 5th place overall, 2nd place in the Pro-Am class ahead of Shane Piggott and Carl Hardy. Joe Winter is going to finish in 8th ahead of Mick Anderson and Andrew McEwen.
Before we go any further in the results, I got to point something else out about the winners for each of these races this week. There's a lot of parallels. So if you look at Tuesday and Thursday this week, Tuesday you had Lars Fisher, then Andy McEwen, then Jason Cooper, then Sam Smith. Those were your winners for the day. Today we had James Holman, Michael Seal, Chris Knox, Sam Smith. The big parallel I see here is on Tuesday, Fisher and Cooper were teammates. McEwen in between them on his own, and then Smith won the last race of the day. It's a very similar story over here in the touring cars. James Holman and Chris Knox are teammates. They won races 1 and 3, just like Fisher and Cooper on Tuesday. Then Michael Seal, a teammate to Andy McEwen, wins race number 2, breaking those guys up. And then Sam Smith wins the fourth race of the day. Not only that, JP, but when you consider the fact that the team that put drivers in victory lane for races 1 and 3 was the dominant team of the day and is the dominant team usually of the series when it comes down to Fisher and Cooper on Tuesdays and Holman and Knox on Thursdays, it's beginning to look almost like we scripted this. It's unbelievable, the parallels between Tuesday and Thursday this week, at least on the results. I'm blown away.
You're not the only one, Andrew. Just as you're pointing that out, my mind has absolutely blown. So, wow.
Martin Johnson will go 11th here in race 4. Scott Smith 12th. Dale Bennison 13th. Then it's Glenn Humberstone, Michael Seal 15th spot for the first car 1 lap down. Ian Manners goes 16th. Robin Walters 17th, 2 laps down. Then it's Sir Alan Toon, Alistair Hatcher, and Martin Shirley, your top 20. A lot of cars out of this one.
Yeah, James Neve, Neil Ferrier, Roger Moore, Lee Holmes, Tom Mayle, and Fiona Siddons, Andrew. All of them, unfortunately, did not finish the race.
We've only had a little over half of the cars finish this last race. Really treacherous final go of things here at Road America. We've got a few drivers standing alongside JP. One of them, of course, Fiona Siddons. Likely, well, actually, let's go ahead and check points real quick with race 4 results going in. We can find out where she sits in amateur. Well, she's still got a lead. In fact, it has grown nearly 200 points now, JP.
So, Fiona, even though today may have not been the best of days, especially on race number 4, your lead has still increased. So, tell us, how was your day?
The first 2 races was good. Then ended up with a meatball in 3 and 4. But, yeah, happy to be going away with...
Where did you think you saw the most difference on this racetrack between the MX-5 and the TCRs today?
I think the carousel, it was harder to get the TCR around the carousel than what it was the MX-5.
And, well, I mean, unfortunately, obviously, race number 4 did not go your way. That's probably going to give you a little bit more time to think about next week. How do you think the TCRs and you will fare around Canadian Tire? There we go.
I love that track. Hopefully I can get on with the TCR around there because I absolutely love the track.
And coming into next week with over 200 points between you and second place in the amateur class, does that make you feel a little bit less under pressure to perform?
I feel more pressure, to be honest. And I said at the start tonight, I heard the commentary because I have it on in the background, and you was on about the lead I'd got in the AM class, and all I got to do is finish all 4 races. I said to my teammates, tonight's going to be rubbish after that.
I'm not gonna mention you anytime anymore on the pre-race broadcast, only afterwards to make sure the curse doesn't hit you. But yeah, well, with that being said, hopefully next week you're gonna be able to finish all 4 races, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for you, Fiona.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, thank you very much, and well, enjoy the time off, and well, I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And Andrew, well, the lead has grown, but well, I think we need to talk less about Fiona. I mean, we may have to talk less about each and every single driver. Our curse, I mean, it has been on point.
It has been with certain drivers out there, but it was not on point with Sam Smith. To go from that hit he took at the end of race number 3 and driving several laps without a right front wheel. And, you know, Sam, I got to ask first off, how much did you and do you feel that hit you took in race 3, apparently in VR and on a motion rig?
Yeah, in VR and on motion, yeah, it was a bit of a... nearly threw me to the ceiling, to be honest.
So you go from that hit and, you know, driving around for multiple laps without a right front tire, just trying to finish the race, get yourself eligible for the invert, which you did. You start this race on pole, get away from everybody by about 3 seconds, and suddenly you have Michael Seal on the back end of you. What happened there?
I don't know. I've rewinded it and watched the replay, and all of a sudden his wheel in the cockpit view just goes full lot left. I don't know whether he'd had a disconnect or something like that on his wheel, but yeah, no, didn't touch me, didn't have any contact at all. So I don't really know what happened there, to be honest. But thankfully for me, it gave me the chance to just carry on driving away at the front, and I held the 3-second gap to who was it behind me? I held the 3-second gap to the guy behind and just carried on going.
So it's another race for victory for you this week. And usually we say this season, no, this week you win races for both on Tuesday and Thursday. Is there some kind of game plan that you put into effect? How do you manage that?
No game plan really, mate. It was one of those, I thought I'll just limp it round and see if I can make the reverse grid and keep my fingers crossed it's a full. It turned out, and yeah, and Tuesday night, me and my teammate Craig just decided to work together and just go for it and see if we could keep away from everybody, which we managed. So yeah, really pleased with 2 race 4 victories this week.
And how
It's
about,
my first TC win as well.
and how about these new paint schemes for you guys? I saw you and Craig sporting very well, obviously the same scheme on Tuesday, but different from the rest of the Excite SimTech cars. Is there just different pairings going on there? Tell us about that, how that works out with the team.
It was just a case of I had a bit of time and I've had a bit of a play and tried to make it look a little bit more aggressive on the front end. And yeah, it's not any particular reasoning. It was just a case of I had a play and Craig said, "Oh, I'll take that on. Yeah, that looks cool."
There we go. Sam Smith, finally get to talk to you. Congratulations today. Dominating race number 4 and going in for a second win on the week. First one you had in, I believe, first win in each series this season. So putting yourself in a pretty good spot here right as we go into halfway. Congratulations. We'll talk to you potentially next week at Canadian Tire.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Really enjoying the commentary and the stream, and just like to say thanks to my family and my friends and everybody else that I race with. Much appreciated.
Thanks a bunch, Sam. And finishing up that last race, finishing up the day with a big win is very, very important for any driver, and certainly for a Pro-Am here. Sam Smith ending things on a good note. 2 race days in a row, if you will. Wins in the middle with no racing, but still fantastic week for Sam. Let's go on down the line. We've got several drivers waiting. Won't be able to hit all of them, unfortunately, so guys, we do apologize. But what do you say we get Joe Winter? I don't think we talk to him very often. Here comes driver 11.
So Joe Winter, I mean, definitely one of the most exciting drivers I feel like to keep an eye out for. I mean, how was the racing today?
Evening, chaps. Yeah, it was a bit frenetic at times. It was quite aggressive at times, but once the pack thinned out a bit, it sort of eased up a bit. But yeah, I must admit I had my share of aggressive moves, and I was on the receiving end of some as well. So it was a fun night.
Absolutely. During the broadcast, I'm pretty sure I compared you to Kevin Magnussen on F1, just being a hard driver to overtake. Obviously, on the good side, as far as we could tell, everything was clean. But, how difficult it is to overtake, especially to defend, especially on a track like Road America, where you have so many straightaways.
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. You've obviously got the 2 long straights, and they're basically 2 of the only overtaking opportunities. 3 long straights really. You do get a lot of interest going into those slower corners at the end of them, and it can be difficult. I found tonight it was actually slightly more difficult to get past. I'm not sure whether it was something in the track conditions tonight, but I was doing low 218s in practice, and then I don't think I got any lower than a sort of 218.4 tonight or 5. So it's it was tough. I don't know whether the car wasn't particularly suited to the race or what, but it's tough to overtake and defend around here.
And looking towards next week on Canadian Tire, how do you think everything will change? How do you think the racing will change, the overtaking, obviously a much more difficult course, especially the TCR?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting week. I've not raced it or even driven it in TCRs. Yeah, I'll have to start my practice this week. GT3s are very interesting, and like you say, not many places to pass. Quite a lot of elevation changes. I think it's Moss Corner is always entertaining. So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be an interesting week. Definitely one to watch.
It definitely will, and we're definitely going to keep an eye out for you, Joe. So with that being said, I'm going to let you focus for next week, and hopefully we can talk to you then.
Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. Take care.
Absolutely, you too. And Andrew?
Well, I went to click Joe Winter. I promise I did. And he disconnected so fast that as I was going to click Joe Winter, I clicked on JP Costa and drug him down to the interview waiting booth. But let's go ahead and grab one more driver. We look down. We don't usually get to talk to Chris Knox or James Holman. JP, you decide for me.
Let's go for James Holman.
James Holman it is. He won race number 1 in car number 4, and he is now our new points leader. James, it was a good day of racing out there, certainly for car number 4, even if it came with a few troubles, but you are now our points leader in BSRTC. How's that one feel?
Yeah, it was a good night. The Audi was way off pace compared to the Hyundai, so I'm delighted to get the results I did. So yeah, no, and to get the points lead as well is good, but obviously Andy had a bit of a shocker tonight, unfortunately. So yeah, it's never nice to take advantage. Oh, I suppose I had a bit of a shocker last week, so I suppose it swings and roundabouts. But that was a nice night, and Chris did very well there tonight. He was flying in a didn't have any answer for him in race 3, and obviously we were having a bit of a team mess around in race 1. So yeah, it was good. I was a bit unlucky with some contact in race 2, but apart from that, it was good. So yeah, good evening.
A couple of questions I have lined up for you. First, I've got to ask about the car. You mentioned the Audi was a little bit off pace, and we've come to think of it as being fantastic in a straight line, at least off the line, getting off the start pretty nicely. But it seems like maybe that top end, not where it needs to be.
It was the mid-range. It was, like I say, it was great off the line, always is. That's a big advantage of the Audi. But like every time I was coming off the corners, the first half of the straight, I couldn't even sit in the toe of the Elantra. It was just like it was just pulling away from me. As the straight went on, the toe kicked in, and I was able to sort of draw back up to it as the straight went on. But yeah, no, the Elantra is just seriously overpowered at the minute. I mean, I think the BOP and the officials here this week is about 0.8 of a second. So I'm having to try and overcome that as well, which is not easy as well. And there's some quick drivers driving the Elantras there, so yeah, it's difficult to overcome that. So, but yeah, like I was saying, at the end of the day, I had 4 clean starts, and that was sort of the main reason why I choose the Audi. So yeah, it's just it was just frustrating really, because even in that first race when I sat behind Neil and Chris, like I was just watching them drive away in the first half of the straight, and in the second half of the straight I was using the toe to pull myself back up. So a bit frustrating, but not much I can do about it. I'm driving the Audi, so just have to drive it as hard as I can, and that's all you can do.
Now, as far as Chris Knox joining RD Simsport, how big of an asset has he been? It seems like he's helped all of you kind of elevate up to the front. And I mean, you were all controlling race number 1 up there, and I feel like even race 2, I think it was, even portions of race 3, it seems like you guys are the best team right now in BSRTC. How big of a help has Car 88 been?
Chris is fantastic. He's a great driver in real life, and he's done a lot of racing. He's won a lot of things in real life. So yeah, no, he's a good driver, and yeah, him and Neil, actually. Neil got the setup spot on there for the Hyundai there tonight, I think, and Neil should take a lot of credit as well. So yeah, him and Neil have really come into the team, integrated well, and yeah, it's good. Hopefully we keep. I'm the only one driving a different car. Well, Mick I think is driving a Honda as well, but so me and Mick are kind of on our own a little bit. So it's in terms of setup. So we're just sort of some weeks. Hopefully it will work in our favour. But no, Chris and Neil have been fantastic, and Neil was a bit unlucky tonight, but yeah, they've been fantastic, and I'd rather have them as teammates than not. That's for sure.
Well, James, congrats on a race win tonight, and congrats on in this last race going from 20th to 3rd after a pretty painful invert for you. That's pretty big, and congrats on being our new points leader as well. Big time stuff happening for car number 4. I know you say the Audi wasn't up to snuff tonight, but it seems like you have good things going for you in this series as a whole. Congratulations once again. We'll talk to you next week in Canada.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it, and hopefully I'll speak to you next week. Take care.
That's James Holman, a new points leader, and 17 spots in that last race, JP. That is huge.
Yes, it is, and I guess that proves why he's the current points position, Andrew. He was able to overcome not only the underpowered nature of the Audi, I guess you can say, and well, did a fantastic 4 races, kept it clean, which, I mean, that's all he needed.
A big thanks to all the drivers that turned up for post-race interviews. Unfortunately, we don't have the time for all of you tonight, but we appreciate, again, all of those guys that did. Usually, we struggled to find some interviews, but tonight, these guys were on it. We appreciate that. And drivers that do go back and watch and listen, if you're unsure, just go ahead and drop down to that interview waiting room at the end of these races. Even between races, we can get you in sometimes, one or two. So we really do appreciate that you guys want to come talk to us. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up though, JP. Let's first remind ourselves of where we're going next week. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's another 10-turn course. It's a little bit shorter, it feels like, but it's a little bit simpler. It kind of flows with the land. It sways almost. A lot of S's, it feels like. It's a big-time flowing circuit. You're almost always turning in some regard, but there are certainly action spots at Canadian Tire. I think turn 1, certainly. Quebec Corner at turn 3, Moss Corner at turn 5, and even turn 8 through 9, the right, left, right, 8, 9, 10, really. Was it right, left, right to wrap up the circuit. Fantastic corners, great passing opportunities, and these guys will make them big passing opportunities for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very challenging circuit. I guess one of the most challenging we've had, Andrew, maybe up there with Knock Hill and Sonoma as well. You know, it's going to be a challenge on the front wheel drive. It's already a challenge on any sort of car you run. So cannot wait to see what these guys are going to be providing us next week, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic as usual.
A lot of great racing in store next week. Let's check out where all we go at the back end of this week here at Pit Stop TV. Later tonight, in fact, in just under 3 hours, we've got action with the Charlotte Motor Speedway and North American Racing League GT3 cars. We are racing into the night under the lights at the Charlotte Roval, much like IMSA did just a couple of years ago. I was there for that. I just want to point that out. Nice little flex right there. Certainly going to have some great racing. GT3 cars, round number 6 of 8. So we're getting down to that championship time. We just crowned some champions on Tuesday for the Porsche Cup Series. So we're going to, get close to crowning champions this evening at Charlotte. Then Sunday evening is Talladega Super Speedway for the MPI Cup Series. A return to roots, I feel like, really, for NASCAR racing. You've got short tracks and dirt tracks that are certainly roots for NASCAR racing, but you've also got these big super speedways just going flat out, seeing what you've got and putting the pedal to the metal at Daytona and Talladega and tracks like it. It's going to be a lot of fun. A 2.66 mile super speedway. If you're able to tune in, I certainly recommend that you do so. The MPI Cup Series is always fun and certainly will be on a super speedway like Talladega. Then Tuesday, JP, look at that, right back with BSR, but this time at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, as we talked about. It's going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic, Andrew. Cannot wait to see what the drivers are going to be putting up on tonight's race, Sunday's race, and obviously Tuesday as well. But to be sure you don't miss any bit of the action as well, you need to make sure to follow us on social media at facebook.com/pitstoptv, twitter.com/pitstoptv_, instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, and youtube.com/pitstoptv1.
And on the same note as all of our social medias and where you can follow along with Pit Stop TV, I was made aware of something going into the broadcast today. JP, do you want to take a wild guess as to what it might be?
Oh, I have no idea, Andrew.
Put you complete on the spot. If it's related to social media, do you have any guess? I just want to see if you can get somewhere close, because this is actually really cool that we've achieved here on Pit Stop TV.
I don't know.
I like the sounds of you trying to think. We have hit over on YouTube exactly, and let me just double check that this is still the number. Well, now we're up over it. We hit exactly 2,000 subscribers on YouTube as we went live for this broadcast. Now we're at 2,002. And, I can't even begin to try and sum that up. Thank you so much to everybody at BSR and all the leagues that we cover, all the leagues that we have covered over our time here at Pit Stop TV. Thank you so much for supporting what we do here. 2,000. That's a lot, and that's just one of those milestones up along the way as we continue to grow here at Pit Stop TV. And it's a big thanks to everybody tuning in and following along on social media. So it's so important, and it means so much to us when you do follow along. Obviously, it lets you know when we're going live. Pops up in your recommended feed on YouTube. Then there's so many great reasons to follow along with Pit Stop TV on each of these programs, and certainly subscribe on YouTube. We certainly do appreciate it. 2,000 subscribers now as we went live for this broadcast. That is pretty special.
Absolutely is, and I'm glad that I was a part of it, Andrew. And here's to 2,002 more.
4,004 could be a nice little milestone that we hit here soon. But yeah, 2,000 subscribers over on YouTube. Thanks to everybody who makes it happen here for us. A big thank you to our partners at Pit Stop TV, of course, Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Make Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, Whiplash Simcams, and BAM Racing Videos. For everybody here at Pit Stop TV, a big thank you, especially for tuning in and subscribing on YouTube and liking on Facebook, following on Twitter, following on Twitch, on Instagram, wherever you keep up with Pit Stop TV. We certainly appreciate it. JP has joined me on the mic tonight. Big thank you once again. It has been a pleasure so far, Pit Stop TV, and it always will be a pleasure covering these leagues. Thank you to BSR for having us, and that will do it this evening from Road America, the National Park of Speed. We certainly hope you'll tune in just a few short hours at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. We have got quite the action for you there. GT3 cars for a 40-minute race with the amateurs and a 50-minute race with pros and pro-ams in just a little while in this North American Racing League. Be there, 8:30 Eastern. We can't wait to see you.